Everything ain't what it seems. Waking up at night with dreams, that's what you don't know what that means. Man, I'm standing sipping water as time is getting shorter, down to the last minute. There might not be no tomorrow. What's the point of waking up when I know my day gon' suck? Feel like I'm giving up, plus my luck just ain't much. Perplexing as I'm resting, keep changing my direction. All the stressing that I'm getting, progressing my depression. Is it wrong how I'm feeling? Like I just don't wanna be living, like it's not worth existing. That's what my mind's thinking things to make me happy. People thinking they can trap me, but at last I surpass any plans that try to catch me. They don't know I'm out to get it, they just won't give me credit. If I felt it, then I said it. Best believe that I meant it. As the lightning starts to strike, I keep writing about my life. Now things is looking bright. In other words, I see the light. I see the light, it's shining bright and it's white. I see the light, keep breathing, I ain't leaving tonight. I see the light, this ain't right, I'm having the time of my life. I see the light, I got plans, don't plan on dying tonight. I see the light, it's shining bright and it's white. I see the light, keep breathing, I ain't leaving tonight. I see the light, this ain't right, I'm having the time of my life. I see the light, I got plans, don't plan on dying tonight. Got plenty verses, plenty lyrics, none worse than evil spirits. So many souls I ain't hear from fallen leaders, that's diminished. Close to down, almost my time was on my mind when I wrote my rhyme. Out of breath, running from death, but always follow close behind. I don't wanna die, but I don't wanna live. Don't wanna try and I don't wanna give. That ain't no lie, you think it is. What type of nigga you think this is? I was born for a reason. Many months and many seasons pass me by, don't ask me why. Feels like my soul's bleeding. Something special supposed to happen. I never chose rapping, rapping chose me. Born to be a mic assassin, picture scriptures being whispered by this mister. When it hits you, when it gets you, when it enters, feels like my soul's richer. Feel my presence and my essence. At times I can be unpleasant. Time will tell where am I headed. Is it hell or is it heaven? God provided me with the gift, giving me that extra lift. As the earth begins to shift, I see the light is being lit. I see the light, it's shining bright and it's white. I see the light, keep breathing, I ain't leaving tonight. I see the light, this ain't right, I'm having the time of my life. I see the light, I got plans, don't plan on dying tonight. I see the light, it's shining bright and it's white. I see the light, keep breathing, I ain't leaving tonight. I see the light, this ain't right, I'm having the time of my life. I see the light, I got plans, don't plan on dying tonight. Now my mind is picking, clicking, choosing, oozing, losing thought. Making quick decisions, point of views, I'm looking smart. Now everywhere I go, I know the world is gonna test me. But everywhere I go, I know the Lord is gonna bless me. I take my time and make my rhyme. Some people think it's a waste of time. They out of line, they think I'm lying. Until the day I finally shine. Prove them wrong, keep doing songs. Won't be too long till I'm too strong. Face the facts that I'm making tracks and let you know it's gonna be on. I'm gonna try, it's worth a chance. I can face the circumstance. Take my time and take a glance and look in the mirror, fall into a trance. I was born to be a leader. Till I'm gone, I'll be a believer. Y'all gon' feel me like a seizure. If you doubt me, I don't need you. People doubt you when you down, but when you up, they all around. When you broke, they give you frowns, but when you rich, they give you pounds. Remain on top, I ain't gon' drop. While other floss, they chain to watch. I floss my brain, my ain't gon' stop. I squash the game, I'm playing. I see the light, it's shining bright and it's white. I see the light, keep breathing, I ain't leaving tonight. I see the light, this ain't right, I'm having the time of my life. I see the light, I got plans, don't plan on dying tonight. I see the light, it's shining bright and it's white. I see the light, keep breathing, I ain't leaving tonight. I see the light, this ain't right, I'm having the time of my life. I see the light, I got plans, don't plan on dying tonight.
Do you really believe that garbage?
It's not about believing, it's a matter of fact.
So you believe
Well, nobody else could make a decision but me because I was the president, and the final decision comes to the president.
You know, it's easy enough for a Monday morning quarterback to say what the coach should have done after the game's over. But when the decision is up before you, and on my desk I have a motto which says the buck stops here, the decision has to be made.
And so, my fellow Americans, ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country.
And I want to say this to the television audience. I made my mistakes, but in all of my years of public life, I have never profited from public service. I've earned every cent. And in all of my years of public life, I have never obstructed justice. And I think, too, that I could say that in my years of public life, that I welcome this kind of examination, because people have got to know whether or not their president's a crook. Well, I'm not a crook. I've earned everything I've got.
President?
Yep.
Mr. President, I want to raise an issue that I think has been lurking out there for 2 or 3 weeks and cast it specifically in national security terms. You already are the oldest president in history, and some of your staff say you were tired after your most recent encounter with Mr. Mondale. I recall yet that President Kennedy had to go for days on end with very little sleep during the Cuba Missile Crisis. Is there any doubt in your mind that you would be able to function in such circumstances?
Not at all, Mr. Truitt, and I want you to know that also I will not make age an issue of this campaign. I am not going to exploit for political purposes my opponent's youth and inexperience.
And I'm the one who will not raise taxes. My opponent now says he'll raise them as a last resort or a third resort. But when a politician talks like that, you know that's one resort he'll be checking into. And my opponent won't rule out raising taxes, but I will, and the Congress will push me to raise taxes, and I'll say no. And they'll push, and I'll say no. And they'll push again, and I'll say to them, read my lips. No new taxes.
Oh, shit. Here we go again.
You're full of shit.
All right, thank you.
No, shush. Shush.
Fellas, we gotta talk. A lot of men seem to think that Donald Trump is some kind of tough guy. He's not. I mean, look at him. He wears more makeup than Dolly Parton. He whines like a baby. The guy's afraid of birds. Donald Trump had his daddy pay a doctor to say his little feet hurt so he could dodge the draft. Look at that gut, like a garbage bag full of buttermilk. He sells imaginary baseball cards pretending to be a cowboy fireman. Guy's barely strong enough to hold an umbrella. I mean, look how he drinks water. Like a little pink chickadee. He's got jugs, big ones, like Dolly Parton. He cheats at golf. He creeps around beauty pageant dressing rooms. You know that little dance he does? He looks like he's jacking off a pair of giraffes. He's moody, he pouts, he throws tantrums.
No, get those lights off!
He acts like a 5-year-old behind the wheel of a truck. He bends over for Putin. He's cattier on social media than a middle school mean girl. The guy needs help walking downhill. Almost there, Grandma. So this November, let's stop kidding ourselves. Donald Trump is afraid of rain, of dogs, of windmills, Merle Street and being laughed at.
Isn't it past your jail time?
Mostly, he's terrified that real red-blooded American men will find out that he's a weak, tubby toddler.
Mommy, take me home. Mommy, I want to go home.
What's wrong, tough guy? Did someone grab you by the Why, you bitch.
Painful by guys who can still see the room.
In any country, prison is where society sends its failures. But in this country, society itself is failing.
I'd like to punch him in the face, I'll tell you.
We won the evangelicals. We won with young. We won with old. We won with highly educated. We won with poorly educated. I love the poorly educated.
Look at you crazy.
Grab him by the pussy.
I did not have sexual relations with that woman.
Shut your mouth, because you don't know what you're talking about. Yes, I did.
Hold it, tough guy. I'm not afraid of physical. Hold it.
Don't sit there and tell me I'm not.
There's an old saying in Tennessee, I know it's in Texas, probably in Tennessee, that says, fool me once, shame on you. You fool me, we can't get fooled again.
They're bringing drugs, they're bringing crime, they're rapists, and some, I assume, are good people. Stand back and stand by. Will you shut up?
Last thing was Olivia Gondak. It says that I wanted to eat her pussy. Olivia Gondak. I've never said that in my life to her. I would never do that. I'm happily married. I've got more than enough to eat at home. Thank you very much.
You got to come see us when you come to New York, VP Biden.
I will.
It's a long way until November. We got more questions.
You got more questions, but I tell you, if you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, then you ain't black.
Okay. I could stand in the middle of Fifth Avenue and shoot somebody, and I wouldn't lose any voters, okay? It's like incredible. I went to an Ivy League school. I'm very highly educated. I know words. I have the best words. We now have a gun on every table. We're ready to start shooting.
By the way, maybe you could inject some bleach in your arm, and that would take care of it. This is the same man.
Sarcastic.
That was...
Even though they're trying to impeach the son of a bitch. Can you believe that? You believe that? That's enough. Put down the mic.
Mr. President, are you worried about indictments coming down in this investigation?
Punch him in the face, I'll tell you.
If I may ask
Peter,
one
go
other
ahead.
question, are you worried?
That's enough. That's enough.
Mr. President, I was going to ask one other.
I don't want reality. I'm asking the question, which one is better? That's exactly what it is.
Got it on tape.
What a stupid son of a bitch.
I don't like words that hide the truth. I don't like words that conceal reality. I don't like euphemisms or euphemistic language. And American English is loaded with euphemisms because Americans have a lot of trouble dealing with reality. Americans have trouble facing the truth. So they invent a kind of a soft language to protect themselves from it. And it gets worse with every generation. For some reason, it just keeps getting worse.
How stupid are these politicians to allow this to happen?
If you want to run your mouth, we can be two consenting adults. We can finish it here.
Okay, that's fine. Perfect.
You want to do it now?
I'd love to do it right now.
Well, stand your butt up then.
You stand your butt up.
Oh, hold on.
Big
No,
guy.
no, stop it.
Is that your solution every poll?
No, no, sit down.
Oh, you're a clown.
Sit down. Look at you.
You're saying it's a falsehood, and they're giving Sean Spicer, our press secretary, gave alternative facts, alternative facts, alternative facts, alternative facts.
Saudi Arabia and Russia will repeat your. I ain't talking politics. I'm talking life.
I ain't talking politics. I'm talking life.
All right. All right. Here we go again for another episode of TFP, Tay Fist Politics. This is episode 55. The Black Men's Message to Black Trump supporters. What is the major disconnect here? I am Van Cat, and as always, I am joined with the world's most dangerous political panel. And on the panel tonight, we have Ricardo. What is going on, Ricardo?
Hey, Van Cat. I'm in the house. What do you do? Hey, Street Talk Society crew. We're in the house again, and we're going to try to figure out why black men are threat to appease this senile excuse of an old part. And
That's right. That's right. So, we had the discussion last week about Barack Obama's response and really people's response to Barack Obama's message that he had. Of course, a lot of the black conservatives, or should I say black MAGA, didn't really appreciate his words. So before we get into it, let's go into the video package. Oh, and we also have on the panel our resident ODB of the crew. We got Mr. Murr. What's going on, Murs?
My politics, I like it raw. What's poppin', everybody? What's poppin'? Hey, if I don't say anything that you understand today, just remember.
Well, it's all. Hey, business is always picking up when we got a mic on the panel. So
I can't let it be a duo, man. It got to be a trio at least.
MD may or may not be on the panel today. It just depends on if he has time to get free. But we got a lot of things to go over. A lot of things happen. Won't be able to get to everything, but we'll try our best.
That's Van Cat's way of telling me to shut up. Go ahead, I heard you.
I'm also going through a little bit of sickness right now, but we'll muscle through this, and we'll have a great show today.
That's karma getting you back for putting me in the background 3 times.
I'm serious. I did not do that. I don't know how that happened. I am so serious. All right, so here we go with the first video, and we'll be back on the other end for the thoughts on the panel.
I want to set the record straight for all you weirdo black Trump supporters out there who think that there's some kind of movement of black men going towards Donald Trump. Because honestly, all you black dudes who are supporting Donald Trump and low-key supporting Donald Trump by only attacking Kamala Harris, utilizing the same propaganda that white supremacy give you, I just want you all to understand that real black men who are intelligent and smart and understand what's actually going on in this world and understand the consequences of elections and their vote are supporting Kamala Harris. Make no mistake, when this election is over and the exit polls come out, it will prove that you guys are the super minority, Coonarians, who still fall for white supremacy and their propaganda. You're the weakest link, and you will always be the weakest link. And this election just highlights how absolutely stupid you are.
This is for the black Trump supporters, especially the men. I see y'all all on TikTok just bashing the black lady, just bashing, talking crazy, talking grimy, all this kind of stuff. What happened to y'all growing up? Did anything happen to y'all growing up where y'all will vote for a guy that's 78 years old white man who got 34 felonies, who got charged with SA, defrauded banks, contractors? I mean, the list goes on. Y'all okay with that? But the black lady got to be just so perfect for you to vote for, huh? Oh, she ain't did nothing. She been in the office for 3 years now. She ain't did nothing. Do you know what a vice president job is to do? A vice president do not make no policies, man. It's just, it pisses me off, man, how y'all dogging this lady, but you running with a guy who a known racist, man. What is wrong with you? What are you voting for Trump? Huh? I know why I'm voting for Kamala. I know why I'm voting. It ain't just cause she black. That $25,000, I wanna give me a home too. I wanna be able to start me a home too. These banks ain't loaning no money out to us, so that's why I'm voting for her. That $50,000 startup, I got a t-shirt business, a clothing line I'm trying to get off the ground. But the banks ain't giving me nothing. Tell me one thing. If you could come in my comments and tell me one thing. Tell me what our Trump policies are gonna help you. Huh? Y'all so dumb. Tell how dumb y'all is. The man, all Trump do is just say he did. I'm the best black. I did the best for blacks than any other president. He keeps saying that, but ain't no proof into that. But this black lady gotta be so perfect. She can't mess up. She can't do nothing in her past. Nothing. And y'all going hard on her like that. But I'm gonna tell y'all something. It's more black men like me than it is of y'all. Way more who gonna vote for Kamala. The most qualified person to ever run for president is a black lady. And y'all turning y'all backs on her for a 78-year-old white man who ain't. But if you can come in my comments and tell me what Trump policies are, but you can't. I guarantee you can't. None of y'all come in my comment and say what Trump policies are. None. But y'all want to build a wall? You in the hood. Build a wall for who? You in the hood, dude. What? You want tax breaks for the rich? You in the hood, dog. You broke, dog. You struggling. It's blasphemy, man. It's blasphemy, man. I keep seeing y'all just on this timeline, man, just dogging the black lady. Okay, if you don't want to vote for it, don't vote for it. But you ain't got to try to, like, bring her down like she ain't nobody. What happened to y'all, man? What have Trump gave y'all? You talking about the stimulus check? If y'all don't remember, Trump wanted to give y'all only $600. The Democrats made sure they got that $1,200. But I just want to say that though, man, because I'm trying to figure out where y'all mind at, man. Like, for real, man. But it ain't gonna matter because there's more us than it is of y'all. I promise you that. And when election time come, it's gonna be a landslide. And when Trump lose, you take that red mega hat, you take that red mega shirt, turn that some bitch sideways and stick it straight up your candy ass.
Some of my brothers have been drinking that Kool-Aid. And I just hope that they get their minds straight, get their minds right in time for this election. And I got to give credit to President Obama because he's been going really hard on the brothers. Some might think too hard, but I don't think so. We got to wake up, you know, and don't go for the okie doke, the flim flam. Can't do that. We got to support our sister. And then for this guy to say she's not black.
On Kamala
becoming the presidential nominee. I'm going to confess, I wasn't too happy about that. But I'm all in now. I'm 100% now for this reason. This representative from Tennessee, sorry, Connie, from Tennessee, he called her a DEI candidate.
Harris's profile as, the first African-American woman who could be the president, that could make it appealing to a lot of voters.
I always just say put the best player in. I mean, we've got a DEI hire in here, and you take mediocrity, and that's what they have right now as a vice president. 100%. She was a DEI hire. Her record is abysmal at best.
And then they start calling her colored. And then they start calling her out of her name.
And Kamala's
you had it right. You almost got it.
I will say Kamala's name any way that I want to.
No,
but Kamala,
but you mispronounced it.
Just
pronounce her name right.
Kamala Harris, if
Kamala.
I were a man,
You said
I
this.
will
We don't
say
call you Nancy.
any way that I want.
It's Kamala. You're doing this on purpose.
So you have to tell Kamala Harris that you've had enough, that you just can't take it anymore. We can't stand you. You're a vice president. The worst. You're the worst vice president. Kamala, you're fired. Get the hell out of here. You're fired. Get out of here.
She was always of Indian heritage, and she was only promoting Indian heritage. I didn't know she was black until a number of years ago when she happened to turn black, and now she wants to be known as black. So I don't know, is she Indian or is she black?
She has always
But you know
identified
what?
as a black woman. She went to a historically black college.
I respect either one, but she obviously doesn't, because she was Indian all the way, and then all of a sudden she made a turn and she became a black person.
Just to be clear, sir.
And as a black man, I can't let no white man talk about no sister like that. And I not take offense to it. Because who is more disqualified than Donald Trump?
Donald Trump will face 37 criminal counts when he appears in a court in Miami next week. If convicted, the former US president could face up to 10 years in prison.
And Republicans are all in because he is the avatar for their grievance. How qualified does a black person have to be?
A politician who rose from district attorney to state attorney general to U.S. senator, and first black American and South Asian American vice president.
Graduated at the top of her class at Howard, went to law school, was attorney general of a state, a United States senator, a vice president of the United States, but she's not qualified? I'm all in. Because I'm not going to let any white man tell me how I ought to feel about a black person. Stony the road we've trod.
All right, there we go. There we go. So right off the bat, I'll have Ricardo start, and then we'll go to Mers. Go, Ricardo. What do you think here about that piece?
So yeah, can you hear me well? Because my reception is terrible right about now. I don't know why.
You're good, bro.
All right, awesome. So yeah, this is the same issue I had with DT whole time. I can't have somebody of that stature who has been twice criminally convicted. Not even twice. Wasn't it more than twice he was criminally accountably convicted for? Is impeached, has nothing of significance under his banner other than running to be president. Mind you, Kamala has graduated top of her class at Howard. again through the piece, and it because this is literally how I have to break it down to people. Really became a prosecutor, and from there moved their way up. That's progress for you. That's literally typically how you're supposed to do it in terms of politics. I can't, for the life of me, even though and I tend to say this, I give credit where it's due sometimes because he does bring some points that I do like. I can't give it to him, to DT. He's just not qualified. And again, it's proven the point. Everybody, he comes across now very senile. I don't know if people are not picking it up, or he's turning almost 79, going into. Dude, this is it's not it. I'm sorry. Like, you will become the oldest president, after mocking
Joe Biden
so long. Yeah, like mocking Joe for the whole time, and now he's literally in Joe's shoes. I can't do it. I'm sorry, but with all that being said, black men, I'm trying to understand why y'all are drinking the Kool-Aid. It's almost reminiscent of the Jonestown foolishness that they were feeding all those people. If y'all don't know Jonestown and what happened there, it's kind of like that. It's like a cult kind of mindset. I can't do it. I have to go with logic and common sense here. But then again, somebody told me the other day, common sense ain't so common anymore. People are just going by notoriety. People are going by who they like. People are going by things that make them feel good and all of that. Whereas the logic is not there. It's just withholding. I'm sorry, people. Like, wake up. We're 2 weeks in, or almost 2 weeks to the night of the election, and we're still. I doubt we're gonna find out who won that night. But I will say this: y'all have the option to vote. Y'all have the option to know what is on the ballot. Y'all don't have an excuse not to know what you're voting for. There's there's a plethora of things that you can look at, things that affect you, whether it be abortion, whether it be marijuana, whether it be your state legislation, your city's legislation, the roads not being fixed properly, infrastructure-wise, tolls, the traffic, the goddamn traffic that we have to deal with, the natural disasters that are affecting us more and more so than prevalent-wise than it used to be. Like, case in point, Orlando now being affected by hurricanes. I never thought I'll see today. Or the Space Coast getting hit more than once than even South Florida. So that's crazy to me. All these things affect you as a whole. So I don't understand why. And don't get me started on the tax thing that he did, because I'm still reeling from that, because I get hit hard every time my company has profit sharing. None of that goes into my pocket that much anymore. It goes straight to Uncle Sam. And that pisses me off even more, because I can't 99 that, if you know what 99 means. So all of that affects me. Child tax benefits, all of that stuff. People, wake up. We don't have that much time to contemplate, to do that much stuff. I want y'all to do your due diligence, know what's on your ballot, know who is running, all that stuff, but pick wisely, because once you make that decision, I don't want to hear no excuses coming forward from next year. We're in a leap year and it's already bad. Please make the wisest decisions you can make, because if you remember during 2020, it was not pretty. So I'll leave it at that.
Okay, I can.
Sorry, I was just dropping the link there. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Mers.
First of all, it's not MERS. MERS is a disease. Stop trying to get jokes
Mer.
off. It
Well,
is
I mean,
MERS.
Mer just sound better. It
MERS
just
sounds
sound better, Mike.
fantastic because Mike is right. All right. Ricardo went one direction. I'm gonna go the other one. I am in a very good mood today. My mom made me some ackee and saltfish, and I have my third favorite dessert, black cake. Of course, it didn't have the icing on it like I like from weddings, but it's still black cake.
Did it have rum though? Did it have rum?
Oh, you know it had rum, sir. I'm about to be twisted for the.
Mike, Mike, you got to be the most Jamaican nigga of all time.
And that's
Thank you. So I'm in a good mood. You feel me? I got my number. So I'm not gonna yell today. I'm just gonna try to be concise. And if I start talking too long, you let me know. So for the gentleman, all right, there's a couple things that really annoyed me about what I watched. One was, I'm not a fan of people trying to gang tackle black men. But it's black men doing it, so I can't really say nothing. So I'm just going, I feel a way, but I'm not going to harp on it. I'm just going to say this. I personally believe the reason things are going this way is because the Democratic Party has dropped the ball. I think the Democratic Party should have learned from Obama that they can use sense, policy, and good faith, like brainstorming, to get the black vote. And instead, they've used, and I hate to say this term because I hate it, I think it's the dumbest term in the world, but race baiting. They've used stereotypes, and they've used, well, it's better than that. And that's it. That's all they've used. And they wonder why black people are pissed at them. Now, I say black people because there are black women that are upset as well. The only difference is this time there's a black woman running. So, and we know anything about black women, they are on team woman. So, and especially a black woman, they are not going to not vote for her. Now, I have to say this all the time before I start speaking because people get upset. I am not voting for Trump. I have never voted for Trump. I would never vote for Trump. I wouldn't vote for Trump to be the president of a lemonade stand. Okay, so there's no problems there. I'm just saying people are feeling away, and everyone knows this is the word I use. People are feeling disenfranchised because the Democratic Party treats black people like that goofy third step cousin they got that they know gotta vote with the family, so they just gonna bring them up out the sewer every now and then. Come on up, Raphael. Come on, put your side down. Come and vote. Oh, we voted. All right, get that nigger back in the sewer. That's how they treat us, and people don't like that. Now, is Kamala the poster child for them throwing their tantrum? Yes. And I don't think it's because she's a black woman. I think it's because she came out of nowhere. They threw her on Biden because they wanted the vote. And no one, when she got on, like everyone's acting like she's this amazing person now. When she got attached to Biden, everyone was like, what the hell? Her? Like, I know we all acting like she's the greatest thing since sliced bread, but when she got thrown on, everybody was like, we don't get it. It was damn near part 2 of Michael Dukakis. Hey, look at me saying, look at me sounding smart. Look at me sounding smart. All right, sorry.
You are
sorry.
Stop it. You are smart. Go ahead.
Well, politically smart. Look at me trying to sound politically smart. But it was madness. But now because once you get put on that path, there's a road that has to be traveled. She's the vice president. We can't throw somebody ahead of her, even though that's what Obama wanted to do. I believe that is the problem with the black males. I don't think they're mad at her. I think they're mad at the way they've been treated. Now, I'm not saying all of them because I saw that shirt that what's that idiot running back from the Steelers, Le'Veon Bell, was wearing? Trump or the slut or something like that. Hey, man. Hey, I know you an athlete at all, but I'll get a bunch of like my fat out of shape friends and we'll jump you, bro. Like, that's disrespect. Like, I don't understand where that came from. I haven't seen her do anything that makes her a strumpet, anything that makes her slutty, anything that makes her less than the person that she says she is, which is a person who's been in the legal profession for decades. I don't see anything. The only thing you can say is she used to date Montel Williams, and okay, I used to date a midget. Big deal. Okay, I didn't date her, but that was one time. All right, we're not gonna talk about that. Anyway. Anyway. Oh, and I'm sorry, little person. But when I was dating her, her name was midget. Anyway, don't matter. So who someone dates doesn't make them more or less qualified. That's moronic, right? So I go back to my original. If we're not talking about the idiots, the idiots who are, I guess, the black male version of the MAGA group, we're not going to talk about them. They're going to be who they are. I'm talking about the black males, like the preacher who was talking, who was like at first when Kamala came, because he felt it too. It just feels away. I feel like I personally still to this day feel like there's a better candidate than Kamala Harris. And I'm saying her name correctly. But
I'm sure you're right. You're right about that.
Yes. And that's why I think black men are upset. There's better candidates. But like Van Cat would say, she's who we have. So that's why I'm voting for her. But that doesn't mean I have to be happy about it. That doesn't mean I have to throw a party about it. That doesn't mean I'm gonna throw a streamer about it. That doesn't mean I'm gonna wear a one of those pins on my shirt that has her face and says hope with a question mark. I'm not. No, I don't have any, because to me this is just another centrist. And see, I'm starting to get loud. I'm sorry. This is just another centrist in the line of BS centrists that are all beget from Clinton. And like I said, those Clinton years were great, but it hasn't been, the run of Clinton stuff hasn't been that great. I'm tired of centrists. I want some, what do you call it? Progressiveness. I want some progressiveness. The verb in progressive is progress. I'm not seeing much from the Democratic Party in the last couple decades. That's how I feel. I'm going to shut up now.
All facts.
Okay. So, quick question though. If we had like some aliens that came out from outer space and they had this big ass like Death Star type weapon, they could blow up the whole planet. And they say the only reason we ain't gonna blow up this planet is that you gotta unanimously, everybody on the planet gotta say they don't want the planet blown up. Do you think that the planet will not get blown up because everybody unanimously will see the urgency of the moment and vote yes, we all agree not to blow up the planet?
Sir, we couldn't, we as a race couldn't agree that gravity is real.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. So you're always gonna have that element.
Oh,
you're always gonna have that element.
That's what I'm saying. Kevin thinks the earth is flat.
Yeah.
and I would love to beat him on that one, because you deal with something that, that's a whole topic for another time. But
Sir,
no,
I already crushed him. I crushed him personally in his face.
Yeah.
And he just gave me the look like, man, it's flat. I'm like, yeah, all right.
Nope, it's not flat, Kevin. Sorry.
There's some people that just want to be contrary to what is.
And you know
that's how
that's
they
me,
get
because
their
I'm a
kicks.
natural dissenter. I'm a natural dissenter. If everybody likes something, I automatically don't like it.
But you,
we were talking about that in the group.
But you're not malicious, and you at least can see some logic.
Fact.
You
That's
can at
all.
least be
Yes, sir.
appealed to.
Yes, sir.
There's some
'Cause
people
I
that are
believe in
just
logic.
right. They just blindly go away. They're just to oppose, whether
Yeah.
it's their own undoing or not. And that's the crazy thing we have to deal with.
This
So
is why
when
Bellevue was existing.
yeah. So we're looking at like this little segment, and don't get it wrong. I mean, every year, even before Obama, there's been a little chunk of black male going away from the Democratic Party. But if you look at the Republicans, which they're not looking at, the same phenomena is happening. We're gonna look at some polls, but before we do that, we got to check out MD20. What's going on, MD?
Peace, what's going on? What's happening? What y'all talking about?
Hey, Vancat, he has it in his contract. You have to say MD20 political profit. You got to say the whole thing.
Oh, that's right. The political profit amongst mere mortal men.
Thank you. I
It's
don't have no money to pay.
all
I don't
good,
have
man.
money
It's
to pay
all
for that.
good.
Yeah, so we were just going over the black men response to black Trump supporters. We just saw a video of some dissenting views and opinions. So, what do you think about this whole aspect of the black Trump supporters' anti-Kamala mission?
Hey, we talked about this in detail last week, man. Like I said, I don't put much stock into it, but I understand the reason behind the conversation. If you want to get deeper, it's more than misogyny to me. For me, it's the experience of the status quo of what we view politics as, and that's a sad statement to say, based on the fact that, again, talking about progressive politics, how do we view those progressive politics in the form of how the society looks? You know what I mean? A lot of people, it might sound crazy to say, a lot of people don't look at it from a societal aspect because, again, a lot of people have individualistic mindsets, which is fine. I promote that. But I also understand my surroundings. And I understand that my surroundings change based on societal norms, with various cultures, et cetera, et cetera. A lot of people don't want to accept that. And when they see that there may be a slight chance that based on the dynamics of the changing aspects of society, they may be on the outside looking in from a cultural, I guess you would say a social hierarchy standpoint, they feel some type of way. Again, friends group of people on both sides, whether it's a person that's defending it or finding the discrepancies in it. It's on both sides. A person that identifies a black Trump supporter and what they believe is also fringe. It just is. Because most of black men don't think of politics that way. Well, at least most of the men that got a sound mind. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people can only think in a societal way, which is sad. It shouldn't have to be that way. Our system of government, our values, or how we hold this American standard wasn't built upon that. But I get it. Like I said, I don't thwart the attempts to understand life in that way. I don't. I just identify it and call it out. Because at the end of the day, you have to have an individualistic mindset in order to identify the harms in the society. That's the only way, really, you could do it. So I get it. Again, like I said, we talked about this in detail last week. You know, looking at it in reverse, a person that's identifying a nigga for Trump, per se. You know what I'm saying? Hey, friends group on both sides.
Yeah, last week we talked morning about the from the aspect of black Trump supporters, why are they on board with Trump, and now we're talking about the response of black men that are for Kamala and why they believe that that's a problematic position to put yourself in. Judging by Trump's past and what he represents.
Let me say this real quick, because I keep hearing the word, and I heard Mike say it, but he ain't been the only one. I keep hearing this word being touted, disenfranchised, right? From now, this is my understanding. Again, I could be wrong. A person that's disenfranchised would, in layman's terms, be a person that has no rights within the society. And would everybody agree with that?
Yep.
So
hopeless.
Right. So
it feels like they have no rights in the society. That's how I mean it. They feel like they have no rights in the society. They feel like nothing they do holds any weight.
Well, that's nothing you do holding any weight and feeling like not having any rights. I would think would be like different from each other. Well, again, that some answers at the end of the day.
Black lobby? Is there a black lobby? Is there organization pushing?
There is a black lobby. Again, this is the prop. See, you done started it, Van Cat.
No, I'm just saying because it's not. Obviously, there could be some black lobbies, but they're not in they're not in the force of like these other lobbies. These other lobbies.
I would disagree. I would disagree, Van Cat. I talked about this. I believe when I had the discussion with Soleiman, because he asked me that very same question, and we pulled it up. Black Pac, which is the biggest quote unquote black lobby, was amongst the biggest donors in 2020 during that election cycle. So again, I would beg to differ to say that black lobbies don't have any power. Here's the problem, though, Van.
Okay.
A lot of quote unquote black people don't associate with that quote unquote black lobbyist group. Why? Because all black people ain't the same.
Right.
So again, Black Pac, Black American Pac, it's a lot of black lobbying groups. The problem is everybody don't associate themselves with the values of those said lobbying groups. So again, what's black about it in the totality of a high mind. Because it sounds to me like all niggas should think alike, no matter where they come from. All niggas should think alike. If you don't think that way, you a coon, you a sellout, you a Uncle Tom.
including the
Is
uppity
that not how we were taught? Huh?
Sambo.
Sambo, that's a good one.
including the uppity Negroes too.
Especially uppity Negro. So again, so like I'm telling you, this whole conversation surrounded around blackness and having a set value system of what is black and what is not is a bunch of bullshit at the end of the day. And that's the problem with black.
Well, you know what? I would agree with you, but that's kind of what we push to the world. Sadly, that's what our creatives, that's what our famous, that's what our biggest mouths push to the world, that if you black, you know this, or if you black, you know this. And I guess it's made us seem like a monolith, but we're not, because I'm a band. I'm a black ass nerd that played football. I played sports. So I ain't really fit anywhere. You know what I mean? So, but I'm also like politically inclined, not as much as you three. But I also could sit down and play a board game. Like, but I hate spades. So like I don't really fit in anywhere. You know what I'm saying? No, I really hate. You have no idea how much I can't stand spades anymore. I'm done. But everything we do is that's why Biden felt okay with saying that you ain't black comment,
And
because he felt like we
I
all would
agree
get
with
it.
that.
and still offensive to this very day. Like, how dare
Big
you
facts.
tell a black person that he ain't black? Like,
Big
I
facts.
agree with that.
Look at how the black guy in the video Van Cat just showed was talking about how he would. No, it was Spike Lee. Look at how he was proud of what Obama said versus what I said. And I love Spike Lee. You know what I'm saying? I love Spike Lee. Spike Lee made one of my favorite movies.
White
You know
man
what I'm saying?
can't.
But no, you never saw it. You never saw it. It's one of his more obscure movies. But
What? Which movie you talking about?
Because I want to know too.
She Hate Me?
She hate me.
She Hate Me.
Yeah.
No, I never saw that one.
Didn't I just say that? Back up off me. Don't get mad
So
because I got. Don't get mad
Is
because I got
that the one
outreach
with
in
what's
this.
the name in it? The new Captain America dude. Is he in
Anthony
that?
Mackie. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So I know of it, but I just haven't
Yeah.
seen it.
Hey, if you
so
haven't seen it, it is fantastic.
so with that being said, I would say that we must do our due diligence to find out who was behind the promotion of flat blackness and why is it a thing? Because flat blackness to me is a detriment from a cultural standpoint, and it's an obstruction from a political standpoint. Now that's just me.
Well, see,
That's just me.
here's the problem. Here's the problem. The reason it's been pushed like that is because our numbers went from like 15 to 11. We were like 15% of the population when I was a kid. We're like 11, 12, or 11 and a half now. And if we were to go individualistic, we would be dissected, which would weaken the little base we have. That's why I never said there's not a reason it's pushed like that. I said that causes our problems, because if we started going like that, there'd be a chunk of they're black for Trump. There'd be the black MAGAs and all that, and it'd be all the separates, and then we wouldn't have any power to go, hey, we as a black unit want this, and they would go, what the hell is a black unit? It ain't nothing but y'all ain't nothing but 10% of the Negroes. We ain't listening to you. That's why we stick together, because America as a whole, and like I always say, you go back to every problem that has happened to black people in this world, it starts with white supremacy. That's what white supremacy did. It not only segregated us, but then when it got to a point where we were finally unified, they came through and destroyed that as well. Destroying towns, destroying people, destroying lives, destroying families.
And
It's what they did.
Still do it. They still
and
do
they
it.
still do it.
Which brings up another point to me that I want, because we're having a discussion here about the politics of black, but in this form, I don't need and this to come off the way it does, but I have to say it because I see it a lot of times. I do not need a white person to make me feel that. I don't need your approval. I don't need you to tell me, oh, but your kids are so well behaved. I'm not even going to tell you thank you. What is that supposed to mean? My kids are not supposed to be well behaved, or oh, you're so intelligent and wise for a black guy. What is that supposed to mean? I don't need y'all to tell me, like, this is my other issue. What is with black people and this approval thing that you need to get from white folks? I hate it's something that aggravates my soul to the very, like, even working on a daily basis, the same thing I encounter. Sorry, you're so, like, very inclined to speak. That's supposed to mean? Like, I'm so confused. But what is that like? And at one point somebody said something to me and I snapped back, and then I wasn't expecting that. No, we're gonna expect that, but I'm gonna say it to you. Please stop saying that to black people. Like, I don't get this whole thing of I need your validation to make yourself feel like some. No, we don't need that. We don't do that anymore. That's just like we out the ballpark.
You know, I have a response for that, but I feel like we're gonna go way off of what Van Cat's talking about today, so I'm not gonna jump on it.
I just had to put it out there.
No, go ahead, Mike.
Something I had to put out there, but Twin, go ahead, because it's infuriating to me when I see people do this whole I need to as a black person to be validated by me as a white person. Please stop that. That's a very annoying.
And I can relate to a lot of what you're saying now, Ricardo. I can relate
Everybody
to
on
that.
this show should be able to relate to that. We're the guys. We're the smart ones. We're the ones that they look at and go, that's my black friend. He's not a nigger. All four of us on this, every single one of us on this panel are the guys that we've had the white friend that have said that.
Right,
not to our face.
But I have black friends. We're the black friends they're talking about.
We're the ones they're talking about, right? We're the ones. And it's not us that wants their approval. It's them trying to prove that they're not them.
Boom.
Hey, look, I'm not MAGA. You can invite me to the cookout. Boom. No, you're not. There's only one white person allowed to my cookout, and everybody in the world that knows me knows who that is. And it ain't you, sir. Because it ain't a man. That's all it is. They're trying to prove that they're not racist. And I tell you this, anybody that has to prove that they're not racist thinks they're kind of racist.
Yep.
That's a fact. I tell people all the time, they be like, how come you don't defend it when they say you hate women and you don't? I'm like, because I don't hate women. I can tell you right now, of the last 10 people that have called me on my phone, 10 of them are females. That's who I talk to. The last male he didn't even call. He texted me. So that is what it is. And I know I can't be that bad if Dr. Mia loves me. And Dr. Mia loves me.
That's the bar right there. That's the bar.
Here you go. No, the bar is if you are a horrible human being about something, there is generally a very small amount of people in that community that will love you. If you're racist, you might find one black person that'll be like, he all right, but you're not gonna find a bunch. I have a bunch of women in my life that tell me they know I love women. So that's why it doesn't bother me. But if you reaching, I don't go around and go, oh, you're so well spoken for a woman, or you're like, I don't feel the need. I don't feel the need to have to prove that I care about women. All I do is I stand up when there's a woman in trouble and I help. That's how I show it. That's it. And if they would take that type of stance, it would make life a lot easier for us. Because nothing is more strange, nothing makes you feel worse, nothing makes you have to look at a friend differently than when they say one of those comments after you thought they were cool. And like, damn, bro, I thought you was one of the damn. You were Justin Timberlake, you faked it.
Yep, went through that in 2020. I had to get rid of a whole bunch of people that I grew up with. And I'm like, whoa, didn't know you had that sense. But glad to know. Cut you off. That's it. Oh my God, I can't believe you cut me off. Cut you off. And do it. Nope.
Hey, I tell a story, don't worry, Van, I'm not gonna tell a story, but of a white friend of mine who I've known since 88. And one day we and him had a beef about something, and I told him he not allowed at the park no more because I thought I was hard. And he came to the park laughing, like, man, you ain't gonna stop me from coming to the park. He took one foot on the park and I punched him in the face. And he ran away. And the first thing he said, he looked at me, he's like, you freaking nigger. And he ran back to his house.
Wow.
And I looked at everybody and everybody nodded their head and was like, uh-huh, we thought so. Because I could have been anything, but why I had to be that? So, you know what I'm saying? And I ain't even mad at him. Like, to this day, I ain't mad at him. It's just, and let me know where I stand. I'm cool. I like my racism out front.
I love the way Mike said he wasn't going to tell the story, but he just told the story.
No,
but whatever.
bro. Hey, if you know me, you know that was not a story. So my stories take 20 minutes.
I'm just playing, Mike.
I know. Go ahead. I'm shutting up.
All right. So I want to go into the polls here. And Sleepy Don has made a resurfaced. He has resurfaced with his sleepy ways. He's very tired. The man is tired, people. He's very tired. He's 78 years old. Come on, give him a chance, guys. So here we go. Let's take a look at these polls, and we'll be back on the other end.
When we talk about Donald Trump, from the beginning of Donald Trump as a political figure, non-college white voters who did not go to college have been one of his key demographics.
It's been a key demographic for him. It's been his base. And this is what's so interesting, because we've seen so many groups this year moving in Donald Trump's direction. So you would think his core group, his base of support, would be doing the same. But in fact, it's moving a little bit away from him. So this is Trump's margin with non-college white voters. Unlike most voting blocks, this group is not moving. You go back 8 years ago, he won it by 33. You go back 4 years ago, he won it by 31. Now what we look is we see that in the latest average of polls, he's only up by 27. Now that may not seem like a lot, but given that we're seeing these double-digit gains, say among black voters or among Hispanic voters in some of the polls, the fact that we're seeing this core group of supporters actually moving away from him, not just off of the 2016 baseline, but the 2020 baseline as well, I think that's a rather interesting development.
Shrinkage, as Donald Trump might say, based on what he said the last few days. Why could even a small difference with this group matter?
Why can a small difference with this group matter? Because look at what percentage of the electorate that they make up. So we can look nationally, right? Look at this. Non-college white voters make up 40% of the electorate. That's more than college whites at 29%. All other groups, voters of color at 28%. So this is something that we've seen throughout the board, right? Which is that Donald Trump is making huge gains with groups that make up a smaller percentage of the electorate while he's losing a little bit. But these groups that he's losing a little bit of make up a much larger portion of the electorate. But more than that, we're talking about the US of A, where they make up 40%. Why don't you go to those key Great Lake battleground states, Michigan, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin? They have outsized import in those Great Lake battleground states. Non-college white voters, look at this. They make up the slim majority of voters at 51%, way more than college whites at 30%, way more than all other voters at 16%. So if you're seeing movement in the Great Lake battleground states among non-college whites, that could be a very big development, John.
Are we seeing movement in the battleground states among non-college whites?
Nothing quite like a leading question, my dear friend. Yes, we are. We're seeing the same pattern in the Great Lake battleground states that we're seeing nationally. That is small movement among non-college white voters. Again, you see it back in 2016, Donald Trump won them by 25. You see small movement in 2020, Donald Trump winning them by 22. And look at that, what we are today. Again, Trump is ahead, but his margins are smaller. And when you have a shrinking margin for Donald Trump among his core group that makes up the majority of voters, it can make up for big shifts among smaller groups of the electorate. And this is why Kamala Harris is still in the ball game right now. It's because even though she's losing big league among groups that make up a small portion of the electorate, and she's making it up among groups that make up a big portion of the electorate, even if the movements are small. But it's clear here.
That is very interesting. That is a clear downward slope in these key states among his key demographic. And if I can,
yes, please do.
Again, as you're looking here, again, this is where Donald Trump has seen gains, but it's the smallest group in these top two.
That's exactly right. Among white voters and non-college whites and college whites especially, they make up a lion's share of the electorate. And so even if you're seeing small movements among these groups, among non-college whites, slightly larger among college whites, it more than makes up, or at least makes up for, the movement among voters of color, all others in this particular case.
Let's make it into a music. Who the hell wants to hear questions, right? Let me hear that music, please.
Everyone, let's thank President Trump.
Nice and loud.
God bless you.
So play YMCA. Go ahead. Let's go. Nice and loud.
Here we go, everybody.
Was Donald Trump's 39-minute spontaneous dance party the closest we are getting to an October surprise as both campaigns enter the home stretch? There will be no big final debate. Trump's made that clear. Both campaigns now, of course, just focusing on turnout in swing states that will decide the election.
Look, they pulled him out of interviews and his team admitted he's exhausted. Canceled another talk show this week. Look, give him a break. He's nearly 80 years old. He's out there rambling, moving around. We'll give him a break. But look, he's not up to this anymore, folks. He's not up to it.
And it's really starting to show, I got to say. I mean, let's, again, to be just human here for a second. Campaigning for president is hard. It's physically and emotionally, psychologically grueling. It's difficult for any candidate. It's particularly got to be really hard for the 78-year-old man who is the oldest major party nominee in U.S. history.
Have you seen him lately? I mean, he is out there. He's given 2.5 hour speeches, just word salads. You have no idea what he's talking about. He's talking about Hannibal Lecter. He's talking about this. He's talking about that. He's swaying to Ave Maria and YMCA for about half an hour. Folks are standing there not sure what's happening. Can you imagine if I did that?
To a bizarre wordless dance recital set to Trump's comfort playlist. When Trump rarely does step out from more traditional interview, he is forced to answer real questions on issues like his fitness for office, and he just can't do it.
You own and run businesses. Yeah. Would you appoint a CEO who was 78? You didn't give you a medical?
Some of this, yeah, I would. Depends on this. I've met people like Biden, who's in bad shape. I wouldn't. I know many people in their 80s. I know guys in their 80s that won't leave the company, like family companies where they don't want the kids to take over because they're much more competent than their kids. You know, I took 2 cognitive tests and I aced them both. I think that, frankly, people, regardless, should take, if they're 50 or 40 or, I think people should take cognitive tests, not because of the age, but because of something else.
His team is citing exhaustion. For anyone who's been following along, there's no doubt that Donald Trump really is tired. And again, I get it. As the Harris Walls campaign noted on social media, quote, an exhausted Trump appeared to fall asleep during his campaign event in Michigan today. At that same event, he even complained about having to campaign.
How about we'll go through it pretty quick, Dale, and then I'm going over to make a little speech in front of 10,000 people. You think this is an easy life I have, right? I go from here, I say, am I finished? They say, no, sir, you have one more speech. Oh, good, where is it? What is it, 20 minutes, 30 minutes away?
He does not look like he's enjoying himself.
I was so amazed that Harvey Weinstein got schlonged. He got hit as hard as you can get hit because he was sort of the king of the woke, right? Lincoln was probably a great president, although I've always said, why wasn't that settled? You know, I'm a guy that it doesn't make sense. We had a civil war.
Do you find it weird they're not interested about why Kamala Harris was not at the Capitol on January 6th, but was at the DNC when a pipe bomb was outside?
Yeah, it's interesting.
Why does
they say, oh, yes, we're building cars? They don't build cars. They take them out of a box and they assemble them. We could have our child do it. It's a rigged deal. The whole thing is rigged. Why are they still being held? Nobody's ever been treated like this. Nobody's ever. Maybe the Japanese during Second World War, frankly. But, you know, they were held, too.
I think we have more of an enemy from within than we do from outside. These are bad people. These are sick people and bad people.
Is cocaine a stronger
oh, yeah.
up?
Yeah. Cocaine
So you're way up with cocaine more than anything else you can think of.
What's your favorite farm animal?
I'll tell you what I love. I love cows. But if we go with Kamala, you won't have any cows. I like conversation. I don't seem to get myself in much trouble.
Kamala Harris, on the other hand, is running a very active campaign. She's taking every opportunity to highlight the contrast between her and Trump.
Now he is ducking debates and canceling interviews. Come on. And check this out. His own campaign team recently said it is because of exhaustion. Well, if you are exhausted on the campaign trail, it raises real questions about whether you are fit for the toughest job in the world. Come on. Come on.
Donald Trump's response today likely did little to assuage concerns about his fitness for office.
What event did I cancel? I haven't canceled. She doesn't go to any events. She's a loser. She doesn't go to any events. She didn't even show up for the Catholics last night at the hotel. It was insulting. All they are is sound bites. So today I was at Fox and Friends at 7 in the morning. I then went to 2 different other appearances. I then made about 15 phone calls. I've gone 48 days now without a rest. And I've got that loser who doesn't have the energy of a rabbit.
All right, there we go. So I want to go right to MD. MD, there was a lot of things covered in that video. First and foremost, the polling information. As we saw in the polling that we talked about, like I mentioned earlier, we talked about the black male vote dropping over the last few years, and it continues in this election. And as we can see, the non-educated white vote, pretty much, that vote has been going down drastically every year. The difference, one is from a small demographic, the other is from a very large demographic. So what do you think about those polling numbers? What do you think about Sleepy Don? What do you think about a guy running for president? Stop taking questions because he can't handle it no more, and he just wants to dance to YMCA, and among other weird things that we've never seen before.
From that collection of data that we got concerning the polls, I can understand it. I can see where it has validity. Still, I don't put much into the polls themselves. What's up, man?
What do you have on your order again?
I got the 5P combo.
Okay. 5 piece and a number 3 fish on wing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, say, hey, shout out to TFP, man. Nah, you good. Hey, oh, my bad. I thought I was on. Hey, yeah, so again, yeah, man. Yeah, so again, I can see the validity in the data as it pertains to the demographic. That's something that we pretty much already knew. Now, CNN was trying to say, okay, this was the impact that this was going to have in the present as it pertains to bigger impact of the demographic of the vote, which is fine. I get it. I saw, just a sidetrack on it. I saw something today was saying that now they have Wisconsin, because they were talking about Wisconsin in that video. Wisconsin, they had Trump up by 1 now. I don't believe that, like at all.
Right.
So this is the issue when you correlate what the swing state polling says in average versus the demographic impact. If we look at the demographic impact versus what the YouGov polls are saying now, it really don't make sense. So the non-educated is going to, essentially in layman's terms, the non-educated is going to have less of an impact based on turnout versus a highly educated person. Now let's take a state like Wisconsin, since I brought that up. Wisconsin, you got city centers that's going to have major impact on the election within that swing state. Madison, Wisconsin, Milwaukee, et cetera, versus middle of nowhere, basically. From an impact standpoint, I can only assume, based on those demographics, that is going to be much more of an impact in those city centers based on the college-educated voters versus non-college educated, because of the concentration in the city centers versus outside of it. So when a poll tells me in Wisconsin that Trump is now up by 1 versus what you just showed me, tells me the integrity of said poll. So that's my argument when it comes to polls. That's why I don't put too much stock in it.
Okay. Okay, and what's your reaction to Donald Trump, a candidate running for president, breaking out in songs instead of taking questions for 45 minutes? You're supposed to be there an hour taking questions about policies, and he rather dance.
Look at the town halls and the interviews and the rallies that Kamala is doing. All of them are pretty much current event policy based. All of them. Whereas you can take Trump and he won't have much of an effect unless he go on a podcast that's very friend. Like I remember when he did that one podcast with the guy and they were talking about drugs, and that's a dumbass person. That's not relative in the fact of what he believes in policy. I believe he's about to get ready to go on Joe Rogan in a couple of days. I don't take these people seriously. Now, I'm not saying that you can't go on these shows because Kamala has done it. I remember a couple of weeks ago, she went on some podcast calling me daddy. And from what I understand, that's like a podcast where you talk about sex and all type of stuff. But it's relative to what the current events are from a policy perspective when it comes to the Harris campaign, especially when it comes to abortion and stuff like that.
MD, you there? Oh,
my bad. I had got my 5 piece. My bad.
Oh.
So we know that there can be a conversation on a podcast in which is not relative to a political conversation. I get it. Trump don't got the ability to even do that. He went on these friends podcasts. Then he finally went somewhere at the Chicago Economic Club and didn't know what the hell he was talking about. I remember the guy. Yeah, I remember the guy was asking him about Google. He didn't have no answer for that, so we just went on a rant. And the dude said, "Hey, look, man, I'm talking about Google. Like, what the hell are you talking about? I'm talking about Google." He doesn't have the ability to have a serious discussion. There's a time and a place where you can laugh. You know, we don't want no robot politician. You know, of course, we want somebody that can be relatable. I get it, but at the same time, you got to formulate those opinions in a relative term to what the current events are and what the policies are of your particular campaign and your political party. Trump cannot do that. I don't give a damn what nobody say. He can't do it. He don't got the ability to do it. So, you know, this has been known since 2015. So, hey, I don't know what else to say about it. If you like the rambling and the weave and all of that, hey, be my guest, man. That's all I can say to you at this point. Hey, we 2 weeks away. If you ain't got no opinion what it is now, I don't know what to tell you, bro.
Bless his heart. All right, MD, thank you. So we're going to go to Ricardo. Ricardo, what do you think about the polling information like we talked about with MD just now? And any thoughts on Trump's behavior? He has a lot of wild, crazy things he said this weekend and last week as well. Dancing, ignoring questions, going to McDonald's. I mean, he's been doing a lot. What do you think?
Yeah, it's one of those things where you now have to calling the kettle black. I mean, wasn't these all the things that he was making fun of Joe about, and now we're seeing it in real time with him. It's very shocking. Him rambling on and people think that sounds cognitive. Like, no, he just rambles, and he, like MD brought up a point. When he doesn't know how to answer a question, he go on and on about things that don't even make no damn sense. And it's to the point where he does town halls and people be giving him the side eyes and the what the hell looks like. Okay, we support you, but what the hell are you talking about? So it's those movies where it's kind of like funny, but it's kind of like scary at the same time. Like, this is what you guys want to select now the second time around, and 2, he's getting older. So How does that make sense? Like, none of this makes sense at all to me. The one point I want to bring up, though, is that it seems, based on the polls of what they're showing, it's like the educated crew or the people that are in college the most tend to vote, you know, in a keen sense. How do I put it? Like, the educated people would usually vote because they know of the issues, if that makes sense. Whereas the uneducated would be like going by, oh, it's the popularity, the notoriety, and he speaks to me kind of thing. Like, no, we're gonna vote on things that make sense. And this is why you kept hearing me say from even going into the election, cycle, I was saying when it comes down to it, I think it's going to be a close election, but I think Kamala will pull out the win in the end. And the reason why I kept saying that is because the one thing that I know he doesn't have on his side is always the women's vote. You can't come into the whole cycle now and say, "Oh, I'm the father." What did he say? If you guys remember, I posted something in the chat where he said he's the father of what, IVF or some crap like that.
The father IVF. Yeah, he
What are you
created it. He the
talking
father.
about? Like, what on earth are you talking about? Like, you literally, like, he's not gonna get it. And to make another point, it seems like maybe I'm wrong, MD, but maybe you could validate it for me. It seems to me the suburbanites, white women, are the ones the last time around that when it came to Hillary and him running, were like, no, hell no, we're not gonna vote for Hillary on account of they have a plethora of if issues with Hillary. This time around, what I noticed with them is that they're kind of undecided, and it's due to the women rights issues and the stance on abortion and all of that. So a lot of women are on the fence, but I think in the end they're going to be the ones that I think will come out and vote. If I want to bring up another point as well, is that what's her name, Cheney, Cheney's daughter, what's her name? Is it Liz Cheney? Liz Cheney's doing this whole, I guess it's a forum kind of thing for like those, conservative or Republicans that don't know where the party stands anymore, but then they're kind of scared of saying out loud, like, hey, I don't feel comfortable with Donald Trump, so hey, go vote for Kamala. But what Liz is saying is she's encountered a lot of people, and I myself have encountered a lot of people that are conservative, uber conservatives, by the way, that say they don't know how comfortable they feel in voting for Trump, but they don't want to say it out loud. So what she was saying, which I've always been saying, when you go in the booth, vote for whoever you feel is validated to the point of who you need to be choosing for the vote. But you don't need to tell me out loud like, hey, I voted for Donald Trump. That's none of my business. You made your civic duty to go vote. But that shouldn't be anybody's business who you vote for. So that's what she was saying. And I love the fact that she's going toe-and-toe, Kamala is going toe-and-toe with Donald Trump, unlike what Hillary did the time when she was running with him, where she only went to selective states where she felt it was necessary for her to go to. Again, the same issue that Mike was talking about with the Democratic Party. They seem to only toe in line where it seems beneficial to them. You can't do that. So I do appreciate Kamala's campaign saying, hey, if Donald Trump is going to Wisconsin, we're going to go to Wisconsin tomorrow, or we're going to go to Pennsylvania. So all those swing states, they literally hidden in the ballpark for, and that's why he seems so tired, because he wasn't expecting that with her. Sir, Donald Trump, I have this to say to you. You can't be saying you're tired when you're running against a woman. That is not a good look, sir. You're literally giving her the ammunition of saying, well, you're a man. You said that you're doing all of this, and hey, I'm a woman. I'm supposed to be feeble, but here I am going toe and toe with you, and you said you're tired. That is like fodder that you don't even want to have on your roster, sir. That just was a bad look overall. I don't know who told him to say that out loud or what the campaign was doing, but you can't say you're tired or say he's tired. That is utter bullcrap. Like I need him and his campaign to get it together. It's 2 weeks in, so and just to summarize the whole thing, because I know I went on my ramble on my nigga babble and what MD. It seems to me the educated groups are gonna be like, hey, we're not gonna like say certain things and blah blah blah, but they know smartly how to vote. The uneducated, which is usually the ones that he clamors for, or the MAGA group clans or whatnot. I said clans, that's funny. Those delusional ones that usually want to go, and they're here in my city. I can't wait to see them in the coming weeks, because they're always putting up damn Trump banners all over the damn place. They're the ones that he's usually like, hey, the media is going, oh yes, he's in the lead. I don't believe that, and I never believed the polls. And it goes to my point where Hillary lost that election that night, where they were like, oh, Hillary had the whole thing on in the bag and blah blah, and she still ended up losing. I'm like, how does that make sense? Because the polls were saying she was in a hefty lead. We never go by polls because polls never make sense, and anybody could say one thing when they call you or do the computer, whatever you want to call it, surveys. But in the end, they vote strategically, or your vote could change based on how you feel that particular day. Anything can happen once you go in the booth. So I say I don't believe that, and the whole fringe thing where they're like, oh, certain people are not voting and whatnot, and blah 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 blah. Again, it comes down to it's going to be a close race, but I still don't see him having this in the bag. I just don't. I think it comes down to those suburbanites women's voting in huge numbers, and it's them that pretty much will make the final say when it comes down to this whole reproduction thing and women not having the right to speak or say how they feel about abortion, all of that. It's going to come down to them, and I've always said this from day one that it will be that decided that will cause him to lose the race, and stand by that.
All right, thanks, Ricardo. All right, Murr, what's your thoughts here on the polling information we saw where Trump is losing his poorly educated whites? And what did you think about Sleepy Don dozing off once again, not just in the courtroom, but now he's doing it on the campaign trail? What do you think, Murr?
First, let me hate the chat for a little bit. Trevor, stop hating. I was very concise. That was like 2 minutes, which is usually 20 minutes for me. Bump you. Number two, shout out to Thinking Black. I'm your spokesperson for today. I hope I keep that going. I don't want to mess it up. Now I'm gonna get to my actual points. Number one, I would like to state that hip hop has ruined Donald Trump's swag. That's what happened. Because people like to think hip hop is a black thing. It's really not. It's a black created thing. It was started by us, but it's pretty much been taken over by white people. If you've ever seen concert footage, it's a avalanche, just a whole bunch of white people with big breasted white women on white man's shoulders, screaming, hey, saying the N-word as much as they want because no one can hear them saying it singularly. They love it. But those uneducated whites, though they like to think they don't like black people, they love black creations. And they've become so used to hip hop that they need swag. They need it. You feel me? They need it. Now, back in 2016, Trump had swag. Trump was coming around. He was freestyling. Oh, who wants to hear Hillary? He was popping off on her. He was popping off on other Republicans. He was like The Rock. He was just coming through like The Rock. Like, you Rudy Poo, Candy. He was doing all that stuff. But that shit got old. That shit got played. And if you know anything about hip hop, you can't be the same way you was 5 years ago. Much less. You feel me? Much less almost 10. You got to change it up. And if you know anything about Trump, he is the epitome. Oh, excuse me. I'm the dumbest one on the show. He is the epitome of a one-trick pony. That's all he has is the freestyle rant. That's all he's got. And it does not work anymore because this is who he's always been. He's always been the champion of the uneducated. That's why they loved him, because he wasn't one of those in the swamp. He was going to clean up the swamp. He was going to... No, he wasn't. He's just a great con man. And he did his job. He played it up, and that's how he got the first victory. But now that we've all seen the playbook, it doesn't work anymore. And this is why, and I like to attach things because Trevor said something about wrestling earlier, and that's why I brought up The Rock. Because this right here, gentlemen, is what happens when you're not allowed to make a heel turn in life. Trump was playing the good guy. He was playing the face. I'm the MAGA face, but I'm the heel of everyone else. But I'm the MAGA face. There is no heel. He can't turn. He has to stick with it. That's what's exhausting him. Because he's trying to find a way. Everyone knows if it's not going great, you make a heel turn, you act like you can't stand everybody, and then everyone likes that you're a renegade. But renegade is the move you made. Renegade is what you came out with. You can't do it again. All you can do is stand on the little pseudo face thing that you're doing. Hey, I'm here because America's great and we're gonna make it great again. No one's buying that. No one's falling for that. That's garbage. And that's why Trump will all those uneducated whites, they're looking at him like, I heard this song already, bro. Wasn't this on your first album? You can't do this again. And he's trying and nothing is working, nothing is sticking. And let's be clear, if he loses the dumb whites, that's what they really try. I know they try to make it seem the non-college educated. They calling them dumb whites. They're the dumb white people. If he loses the dumb whites, it's over because that's all he really has. The smart whites, the smart white, it's pretty much 50-50. They're just in it for the money, but they know if you give the Democrats enough money, you give Kamala enough pork, she'll get you the same benefits. She'll get you the same cuts.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? You'll get the same cuts without looking like morons or looking like you're bending over for Russia. So I'm not even gonna get into that. I'm gonna see how I'm being concise. I'm gonna go shorter than everybody else. My fourth point is what's the name of her VP candidate?
Walt.
Tim Walz.
Yeah. Who?
Tim Walz.
No. Who? Mike Jones. Who?
Tim Walz.
I don't know nothing about this dude, bro. And this is exactly what I don't like about the Democratic Party. Because check this out. 8 years from now, if Kamala wins and she has 2 wonderful runs, you're gonna be sitting here again telling me that I gotta go for Mike Jones, that I have to ride for Tim, whatever his name is. And I'm gonna tell you the same thing I had to say today. Why? I don't know him. Ain't nothing about him special. There's a better candidate than him. But I'm gonna have to vote for him because he's been VP for 8 years, and that's the way it goes. And that's what the black men of the Democratic Party are pissed about. They keep putting up nonsensical people. I don't know this dude.
Tim Walz pretty good, man. He's a progressive from Minnesota.
That's fantastic. He's nobody on the global I ain't gonna say global, but he's
Yeah,
nobody on the big stage.
Yeah, I mean that's all name recognition stuff, but let him do his thing, and you'll see why he is where he is.
Sir, you're
There's a
supposed
reason
to
he's
do
in that
your
spot.
thing before you're elected.
He obviously did something to get her eyes to open up to him.
No, he fit a demographic that she wasn't covering. Let's be clear. That's all he did.
That's part of it, Mike, but not all of it.
Bro, I'm gonna tell you this. They need to pick better. Pick better. And and I did not realize how much I do not like Kamala's voice. Oh my God. When she was talking, she's like, yeah, I was like, what? Go take a lozenge and shut up. Like, it was annoying me. I don't know, and I'm not being misogynist.
AKA, what you expect?
I don't know what I expected, but it damn sure wasn't that voice.
Have you ever talked to an AKA?
I am not going to, you will not have them chicks scared following me trying to kill me. No, sir.
Hey, I'll just be honest, bro. Hey, a lot of them talk like that. Trust me, I know. Hell, I got them in my family.
And I'm so glad you spoke because you're the person I want to talk about last. I am upset at Van Cat because he had the nerve to call me the most Jamaican nigga he's ever heard of because I wanted some black cake with icing. But MD got a 5-piece, and I ain't hear nobody say he the most southern ass nigga we ever heard. What happened?
Yeah, you can't get no more nigga than that.
Come on, bruh. Come on. Only way he could get more nigga is if he said, you ain't got no hot sauce packets. That would have been the only thing.
Yeah, 5-piece, extra wet with lemon pepper sprinkles. Hey, you can't get no more nigga than that.
He said extra wet, bro. I think the extra wet actually says nigga on the package. It says for niggas right there.
Yeah, pretty much.
You feel me? And Van Cat ain't say nothing about it. I'm upset. Do better, Van Cat. Do better. I am done.
Thank you so much for that, Mr. Murr.
Thank you.
So this next segment I want to go into is really important because there was a lot of interviews happening. We had Kamala on Fox News, and that was okay. There was one standout viral moment. I don't have the video for that, but I don't really want to pay attention to that right now. What I do want to go into is Donald Trump's appearance on Spanish TV, where he had a town hall, and he took questions from some of the Spanish. What's that, Mike?
I said, what? For real?
Yeah. So he went out there and he talked to some Spanish people. And some of these questions surprised the hell out of me. They went at him. Let's take a look at this.
In a public forum organized by Televisa Univision, in which they will be able to ask the candidates for the presidency of the United States directly, and thus decide who to vote for. Employment, health, immigration, security, education, and climate change, among other topics. Latinos ask. Donald Trump responds.
Farming is one of the most demanding jobs, and farmers like Jorge Velasquez over here work hard to put food on the table of American families.
Good evening, President Trump. For many years, I have worked with these hands, hunched over, picking strawberries and cutting broccoli. This tough job is mainly done by undocumented people.
Si usted deporta a esta gente, ¿quién haría ese trabajo? ¿Y qué precio pagaríamos por la comida?
If you deport these people, who would do that job, and what price would we pay for food?
Please. Finished, yes?
Yes.
So the problem we have is we had people coming in under my administration, and they were coming in legally. They were coming in through a system that we had, which was great, because I'm the best thing that ever happened to farmers. You know that. I was great. You know, farmers are doing very badly right now, very, very badly under this administration. Under my administration, farmers did very well. We have to have a lot of people come into our country. We just want them to come in legally through a system, because they've released hundreds of thousands of people that are murderers, drug dealers, terrorists. They're coming in totally, nobody knows who they are, where they come from. And the people that are most against it are the Hispanic people. They are totally against it, what's happened, because millions of people are coming in. So they're coming in, but they're also coming in largely, and tremendous numbers coming in out of mental institutions. They're emptying out mental institutions. They're emptying out insane asylums. That's a step above a mental institution. Worse, bigger problems, bigger problem people. They're emptying out jails. Their jails are being let into our country from Venezuela, but not just South America. From all over the world, they're being let in. From jails, from nobody's ever seen anything like it. The jail population throughout the world has come way down, and it's all coming into the United States of America. And we're going to make it so that people can come into our country legally. Thank you. Good question. Thank you.
Gracias por la pregunta. Thank you.
I am a Republican, no longer registered though. I want to give you the opportunity to try to win back my vote. Okay. Your, let me say, action and maybe inaction during your presidency and the last few years sort of, was a little disturbing to me. What happened during January 6th and the fact that, you waited so long to take action while your supporters were attacking the Capitol. Coronavirus, I thought the public was misled during coronavirus, and that many more lives could have been saved if we would have been informed better. And also people in your administration who don't support you. I'm curious how people so close to you and your administration no longer want to support you, so why would I want to support you? If you would answer these questions for me, I would really appreciate it and give you the opportunity. There's, your own vice president doesn't want to support you now.
Thank you, Ramiro.
So the people that don't support a very small portion. We have a tremendous, about 97% of the people in the administration support me. But because it's me, somebody doesn't support, they get a little publicity. The vice president, I disagree with him on what he did. I totally disagreed with him on what he did. Very importantly, you had hundreds of thousands of people come to Washington. They didn't come because of me. They came because of the election. They thought the election was a rigged election, and that's why they came. Some of those people went down to the Capitol. I said,
peacefully and patriotically. Nothing done wrong at all, nothing done wrong. And action was taken, strong action. Ashley Babbitt was killed. Nobody was killed. There were no guns down there. We didn't have guns. The others had guns, but we didn't have guns. And when I say we, these are people that walked down. This was a tiny percentage of the overall, which nobody sees and nobody shows. But that was a day of love from the standpoint of the millions. It's like hundreds of thousands. It could have been the largest group I've ever spoken before. They asked me to speak. I went and I spoke, and I used the term peacefully and patriotically. If you look at the Democrats, what they say, you look at Maxine Waters and you look at Hillary Clinton and you look at what they say, and they don't put that on. They only put Republicans on. But they couldn't get me because of the fact that I said everything's got to be peaceful and patriotic. And we'll see how it all works out. But I think that we're right now in another election. All I want is honest elections. I'm willing to take any chance. I want honest elections.
Good evening, Mr. President. I live in the suburbs of Chicago. Daily I see the consequences of the migration flow.
¿Cuál es su plan para una reforma migratoria?
What is your plan for an immigration reform? And I also would like to ask you why you used your influence to ask the Republican legislators to not back up the strengthening of our border through the proposal.
You like strong borders, so do I, and we have them. We had the strongest border we've ever had in the recorded history of our country. We had, 4 years ago, we had a border that was great. And again, people were coming in, but they were coming in through a legal process. They were great people coming into our country. And when you say Chicago, immediately we have to think about the crime because it's so dangerous in Chicago. Everything the Democrats run is bad. 25 cities, they're all run by Democrats, and they're crime-ridden and crime-infested cities. The Republicans running, they don't have the same problem because we have law and order. We have it the way you need it. You need to be safe. You want to walk across the street for a loaf of bread, you want to be able to walk and not get shot or not get mugged or anything else. So we're going to bring that back. I'm bringing a lot back to help. And I had no inflation. No inflation. Thank you.
Thank you.
The authorities in Springfield, Ohio have more than one time clarified that the Haitians are not eating their cats and their dogs. Nonetheless, you want to revoke the permit they have to legally reside in this country.
Mi pregunta con todo respeto es si usted verdaderamente cree que estas personas se comen las mascotas de la gente.
My question to you very respectfully is, do you really believe that these people are eating the people's pets?
Thank you.
Well, thank you very much. And this was just reported. I was just saying what was reported. That's been reported. And eating other things, too, that they're not supposed to be. But this is, all I do is report. I was there. I'm going to be there. And we're going to take a look, and I'll give you a full report when I do. But that's been in the newspapers and reported pretty broadly. I will say this as far as Springfield is concerned, because I do know that situation. You have a city of 52,000 people, and they've added almost 30,000 migrants into the city. If you were a person that lived there, if you lived in Springfield, Ohio, and all of a sudden you couldn't get into a hospital, you couldn't get your children into a school, you wouldn't be able to buy groceries. You could no longer pay the rent because the government's paying rent. Any of that, if any of that happened, it would be a disaster for you, and you wouldn't be happy. We want to make our people safe and secure, and we want to make them happy. But Springfield, Ohio is a perfect example. You have a town, a beautiful little town with no problems. All of a sudden, they have 30 or 32,000 people dropped into the town, most of whom don't speak the language, most of whom don't speak the language at all. And what they're doing is they're looking all over for interpreters. Well, I mean, I think you can't just destroy our country. It's maybe some people disagree with me, but you can't put in a very short period of time 32,000 people into a 50,000 people town and expect things to go well. It's a disaster. It's a total disaster. And the people that live there are, you know, they want to leave, they want to move, because if you read about it or talk to them, people want to move, they want to leave. because they've never had anything like this. And we can't let that happen to our towns and our cities and our country. Just can't let it happen. It's not sustainable. I appreciate the question. Thank you. I hope you vote for a Republican.
Gracias.
Well,
Oh,
another
my
tough
bad.
night.
My bad. My bad.
Another tough night. Donald Trump
Yo,
said he hopes he votes for a Republican.
Venkat,
Oh man. So
Venkat,
that was brutal. That was brutal, and he keeps having these tough nights.
Venkat. Did
So
he just tell a person that needed an interpreter that he's sick of people coming in that need interpreters?
yep.
Did he just, yo,
It's like he doesn't know how to read the room.
He does not
At
know how.
least try to. He
He
sticks
does.
to his talking points.
yo,
That was bad.
man,
Horrible.
yo, he didn't answer one question.
Lord, everything was on a babble, and it just didn't make any sense. Off in a tangent.
Yeah.
So,
I was very impressed with how the questions that they asked were very intelligent, very smart. Like
But they
it was
weren't in
on
English, so
topic.
they didn't matter.
Because you don't really see most of these towns or halls. They're like friendly, Trump friendly people. They have them pre-screened, and the owner of Univision is a friend of Trump, so you expect that he's going to get a free pass.
I'm not. Mike is that.
Well,
Yo,
so we got
the first question was hilarious. He looked at him, the man looked at him. It's like he said, "Hey, do you like the color blue?" And then Trump was like, "Well, I have a lot of things that have color. My grass is color, my house is painted, and the paint usually comes in the color." He didn't answer one question, bro. He did. Wow, that is a skill. Trump,
All
that's
right.
his calling. He needs to teach that for everybody else in politics. That is his calling. Wow.
That's
what he does.
Wow.
So we got Mr. Straight Talk on the panel. What's going on? Acknowledge me, Mr. Straight Talk.
Token.
I only got two things to say. First of all, peace to the panel.
What up, though?
MD, when I saw you put a 5-piece, I thought it was a 5-piece chicken. I didn't know it was just 5-piece wings. What a big guy like you doing eating just 5 chicken wings?
That's his after. That's his after.
Bro, that's actually my dinner. But that's all you need is 5 pieces, bro. Extra wet with lemon pepper sprinkle. That's all you need. You don't need that, man.
What's the side? What's the side?
Where you getting that from?
From ATL Wing down the street from my mama's house.
Okay, I thought it was like a wing stop or something.
Nah, man. This Atlanta, man. We do actual wing.
Yeah. So here's very interesting in what you said. We start buying these meal kits, like the meal deliveries, in addition to like the factor and stuff that I get. My wife gets Hello Fresh. You heard of that, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so Hello Fresh pre-portions all your stuff. They do all the grocery shopping for you and deliver it to your door. And what I noticed since we've been doing these meals, everything, the portion sizes are so small, and I'm sitting there eating dinner today, and I'm like, damn, you know what? Our mind is conditioned to always want to eat a lot, because these meals are literally cut down in half and still, filling, versus if I cooked it at home, I'm gonna feel like I gotta have, a couple leg quarters and stuff like that. So I get what you're saying about the wings. And wait, no shit, I wish they would pay me. Shit, I ain't got no marketing, but hey, if something's good, then I'm gonna tell everybody it's good. And Factor is fantastic. Damn near 30 pounds down. So I mean, it is what it is. But damn, the second thing, the only other thing I wanted to say, crap, man, I forgot. Damn, my memory's so terrible. So I wanted to talk to MD about his wings.
Over 40.
Yeah, I mean, and it is what it is.
Stop looking at the chat.
Damn it, man. What did I want? So yeah, the next thing I'm gonna say, and this is the last thing I'm gonna say before I go. My sister just recently came over here from Jamaica. Guess how much government assistance she got?
Zero.
Nothing.
Nothing.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
again, everybody's lying, talking about immigrants
Yep.
coming over here and getting all
Yep.
this assistance. She came over here with her 2 little kids and got zero. But
Yep.
guess what she's gonna now do, because she has our blood running through her and her work ethic is unmatched. She is now gonna come over here, bust her ass, and attain the American dream, while the lazy people continue to complain about immigrants coming over and taking their jobs and taking all their assistance, which she's getting none of. So that's all I wanted to say. Good day, gentlemen.
Hey, they during COVID, when I wasn't working, I applied for food stamps, and these bastards telling me, "Well, last year you made this amount." I'm like, "Last year was last year. It's this year right now. I'm making zero right now." They're like, "I'm sorry, but last year that was." I'm like, "My God."
No, you gotta apply for our DeLorean flux capacitor tax, so you can go back in time and get that old money and then
Oh
buy
my
new
God,
food with it. What the hell they talking about?
Crazy.
it's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy. I went through the same thing, Van Kent, so I know exactly what you're talking about. You're like, you made such and such, you're over the threshold. You're not supposed to be. I'm like, if you don't go sit your ass down somewhere, we're in COVID, damn it. I need food to eat.
I got a joke, but I could probably be arrested for it, so I'm thinking not to say it. Nah, bump it. I don't care. That's why I got crackheads. I get it. Y'all got the joke. I'm gonna let it go. Y'all got the joke.
No, I got it. I got it.
All right, cool.
Hey, not to push back on what Trevor said just a little bit. I don't disagree. I don't disagree with what he said. Just to get pushback from a relative term. When they talking about this immigration on the Trump side, they specifying it. We got to be clear about that. They're specifying it in terms of what they believe is the I guess you would say the goal of what the Democrats are trying to do in terms of creating a new demographic of Democratic voters, which would be the Venezuelans, I don't even want to say all Hispanic because it's not all Hispanic. It's a specific group of people that they will argue that are getting these benefits. And yes, some of them are based on what the criteria is in said places that they're going. Now, that, in case of like, if we're going to talk about like the Haitian, that was a specific reason why they did that. They just didn't up and say, look at all these niggas over here in Springfield, Ohio. They didn't do that. It was for a specific reason. Being Springfield, Ohio specifically said, we need people here to work. Our economy is hurting because we got an influx of positions in the labor force that people ain't taking. Therefore, I don't give a damn where they come from. In come the Haitians. That's a specific target that the Republicans went after. Jamaicans ain't doing that. Hell, Jamaicans working 2-3 jobs. Don't nobody give a damn because it's some here, some there. Don't nobody care about Jamaica. Now, if y'all came and influx to a place where there was a specific thing happening, then y'all would be targeted. So, it's cool for Jamaicans to hang below the radar. Yeah, hey, get your money.
You know what? You said that Springfield needed workers, right?
Correct.
Okay. Well, I just saw a stadium up the street, and it sits like 200 people to 400, depending if you squeeze them in. And I thought it was really good architecture. I'm just trying to answer questions like Trump. My bad.
Oh, I got you. Hey, Ashley Babbitt was killed. Nobody was killed.
So,
January 6th had 1 million people, had hundreds of thousands of people.
So y'all crazy. So MD, it just speak to the whole thing. Like me and my wife was talking the other day about why this abortion thing, why they running so heavy on the abortion thing, and why and why, first of all, does the abortion even matter? Like you should be to a point now where you're like, hey, a woman should be able to make the choice on what she want to do with her body. You should be at that point now. Like, why is everybody making that such a big deal? Then you talk about the immigration. Like, why are we still making immigration such a big deal when we have all these things in place. He didn't get his wall, and the country continued to thrive. The country continued to go on, just like it'll continue to go on until the absolute end. But it's again, we're playing to the low hanging fruit. And I wanted to come up earlier to just address the video Venkat played at the beginning, but I'll pull out the rest of the hair that I don't have, because it's like Venkat will find those guys, but he'll never find a guy that'll give you an intelligent reason as to why he doesn't feel Kamala.
Okay, where's that guy at?
Is it there? I mean, hell, the same places.
I'm dead serious.
The same places you're looking to find these guys, and not for nothing. Let's look at the guys that you picked real quick, because I don't think MD saw the video either. Let's look at the guys that you picked. You picked Brother Africa. Brother Africa ain't going to nobody's polls. Come on, man. Let's stop kidding ourselves.
Who the hell is Brother Africa?
Some random African dude that's calling black people stupid. Then you pick this next guy who I thought for a minute was Charleston White talking in his car until I looked at the video and saw that it wasn't. And he's
both
talking
his eyes
about
are working.
And he's talking about, I want that 25,000. I got a t-shirt business that I'm trying to start. Like, why don't you go pick Mr. College educated man that got it out the mud and hear what he has to say? No, you go try to find all these random ass guys that ain't going to nobody's polls probably, and you just want to show one side of things. Again, I feel like I gotta keep saying this like Mike. I am Team Kamala, but I can't in good faith not show you the other side of things, and that I think that's what the problem is.
Show me, teach me, because I want to know who these other magical people are.
Okay, there's somebody in the chat.
Serious.
There's somebody in the chat right now. He won't come up. I get it. He won't come up. He like to stay in incognito. But Thinking Black, I would say I would put Thinking Black on par with MD in political acumen, and that's the greatest compliment I could give a person.
Ain't nobody on par with me. They can only be one.
MD,
There can only be one.
MD, Thinking Black. I'm not even gonna lie to you, MD. I think Thinking Black will get you. But for me to even put you in that stratosphere, I'm like Dusty Rose, baby. We're gonna put you in the stratosphere, baby. I feel like I've said it a million times on YouTube, on the nigga tube. You're untouched when it comes to politics, and that's the best compliment I could give somebody. But I think Thinking Black he may be 1B then. If you're going to hold a 1A, he might be 1B. But he is a person, I don't want to give away all his business, but he is a person that, Democrat and everything. But in talking to him, he'll tell you, hey, I got all these issues, and here it is, here, and here. And you got to listen to him because he's college educated, owns multiple, I didn't give all the man business, but the guy is well off. Let's just say very, very well off, educated black man. And if he really felt like it, he would come up and tell you, hey, this is why I don't think Kamala is the best fit. I'm not saying he's not going to vote for her, but I'm saying, like many other guys, he can give you a bunch of pushback. I'm just a nigga with a microphone that like to talk crap and stir up trouble. So don't listen to nothing I'm saying. But I'm talking about, like, there are legit dudes that the same way you could go dig up Brother Africa, you could go dig up a brother that'll be like, hey man, this is my issue. I ain't talking about all these guys I see on videos. Everybody want to do a video on politics now. Everybody random nigga X doing videos on politics talking about why Kamala's bad and they can't even string two sentences together. I ain't talking about those type of guys. I'm talking about people that actually got like the groundwork and they do good in business. They're highly educated. They ain't just running their mouths. These are guys that know what the hell I'm talking about. I just feel like if you would grab some of them and then do a point counterpoint, then it wouldn't look like a hit piece. But I get it. I mean, I get it. I get it, man. But that's
Trevor,
all.
You're telling me to find some voices to go against a person that's running against a guy with 34 convictions, all these issues criminally, all these issues politically, all the political baggage he has, trying to overthrow the government. I'm supposed to find something to bring down that other person with all these accolades just so she could be down with that guy? That makes no sense. The candidate is
up there making hit pieces.
But yet, and still,
I'm
he's
saying,
running
like,
for the. Yet and still, he's running for the highest.
You're telling me, no.
Office in the land.
If this was McCain against Obama, you could probably say that. If this was, I don't know, Reagan against, whoever, you could probably say that. But this is Donald Trump. He's not new anymore. This is third time running. He has all his baggage, January 6th, all this stuff. What am I supposed to do? And like all these guys that are supposedly high standard conservatives, when you see them try to do the shuck and jive dance to legitimize Donald Trump, it looks so bad. You cannot defend that. I'm sorry. There's just no way. Donald Trump, every time he gets into an arena where he has to justify or answer for what he's done, he has to dance around it. He can't defend what he's done. So what am I supposed to do with that? And why am I digging up? Like, to be honest, I didn't even dig up these guys. It was just there. I'm like, oh,
you dug up Brother Africa. Oh, Joe,
no, did not. Didn't even
dug up Brother
that
Africa.
came right on my YouTube, and I'm like, oh, what he's talking about goes with what I was doing.
Venkat, you know why? Because we live in Florida.
I ain't never seen that nigga before.
You know when
I didn't even know who that nigga was until 3 days ago. 3 days ago, dude.
Venkat, you know when crime happens in Florida. And who the first person they go get? They ain't gonna get the intelligent dude. The first person they gonna get is the nigga with braids and goals and all this other stuff.
Well, we've been seeing that. We've been seeing that on the Trump side, and they use those people to legitimize the black vote going to Trump. So
this is the last thing I'll say because I really got to go. But you the one. Before I do, I got to plug Wrestling with Reality tomorrow. It is assuredly gonna be a banger. I promise you tomorrow, if you never watched the Wrestling with Reality, it is going to be a banger.
Before you go, I want to answer your question, Trevor, before you go.
All right, it is going to be a banger because I'm gonna come. Well, I'm not gonna come around to something Venkat said, but now I see what he was talking about. I'm just hopefully he'll say it in a way not to get the channel shut down. But
my God.
I'm coming around to something he saw based on something I watched last night. So I got all these videos and stuff that I'm getting together for tomorrow's show. There was a sister that asked my wife at work. She was like, "Hey, have you ever heard about this guy named Vince McMahon?" And then she was like, "Yeah, my husband loves wrestling. He always talks about Vince McMahon." She was like, "Oh my God, I watched this documentary on Netflix, and it's like the greatest thing I ever saw. I even did a college paper on it," which I did too. Funny, my 1 year of college, I wrote a paper on Vince McMahon. That's crazy. And so my wife was like, "Oh man, no, you got to check out this show they do on Wednesdays, Wrestling with Reality." So hey, we reaching all over the world, all demos. But tomorrow night's Wrestling with Reality show going to be very, 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 very interesting because I got a couple of videos that we going to touch on. But as long as I've known Venkat has yelled at me. Oh yeah, by the way, man, happy birthday. Happy birthday to Venkat. Her birthday was what, yesterday?
Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Happy birthday. Happy birthday to
Sunday. I'm sorry, Sunday. Yeah. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Happy birthday to the real man, myth, and legend, the backbone behind the Straight Talk Society. It's the only reason I can kick him off yet, because he is the backbone, the driving force of the whole damn society. So I will give him credit for that. But
I will give him no more praise until he responds to my message.
Yeah, Venkat, you ain't gonna go on strike on Trump?
he gonna strike on me? Oh,
yeah, he gonna strike on your ass.
He
Oh
goes
my
tonight.
goodness.
It's
These
fine.
are all rumors. These are
Oh
all
no, well,
rumors.
hey, I'll get a robot. Don't worry.
Oh my God.
He gonna get an AI called Van Kitty.
But what the hell was I? Oh, so Venkat has been arguing with me forever about this. Venkat always tells me, "I'm a man. No man can't tell me what to do. No man can't tell me how to think." But yet and still, Venkat pulls up 3 niggas that's trying to tell black men collectively how they should think.
That's
And
not
that's
true.
all I gotta say.
That's
That's all I
not
gotta say
true.
about that. That's all I
That
gotta.
is
What you had to
not.
ask me, Mike?
Now I wanted to respond to your question. You said you and your wife were talking, and you were wondering why they were still bringing up abortion and stuff, right?
For some reason, y'all so low. I can't. I don't.
Just let my sexy voice control the room.
They don't sound low to me.
Yeah, they've been sounding low all night. Hold on, let me turn my speaker up.
Yeah. Volume sound fine on my end.
Yeah, sounds fine.
Yeah.
All right,
Ooh,
go ahead, Mike.
I got a joke for that, but I'm not gonna say it. So you were saying you don't understand why they keep bringing up like abortion because it should be old, right?
Uh-huh.
That's the only victory they have. Think about it. In all his years, the only thing he did was plant those 3 justices to get in there to overturn that. That's all he's done.
Yep.
Mike is right. What you want me to say?
You already said it, bro. You know I wanted to hear it. That was fantastic.
All right, man.
You know how to hit my points.
All right,
Pause,
man.
pause.
I'm gone, man. I'll see y'all tomorrow. I'm gone.
Hey, check out the lame duck tonight, Trevor.
No, I'll be listening. I'm still doing work. That's what I mean. I'm trying to get this Undertaker sound, man, because I want to.
Speaking of Undertaker, what a softball interview that was.
Oh, get out. Well, we'll talk about it tomorrow. We'll talk about it tomorrow.
Let's talk more about Batista.
We'll talk about it tomorrow because that's going to lead into one of the questions that I'm gonna put you on the hot seat about.
Right there, no hot seat there.
No,
it's more like the ice cream seat.
Oh no, we got a hot seat. I just don't want to bring it up tonight.
It's an ice cream seat.
No, I just don't want to bring it up tonight because I'm going to pull your hypocrite card tomorrow. I guarantee
I'm not a hypocrite.
I guarantee you that I am going to pull your hypocrite card tomorrow night.
I'm not a hypocrite.
So you going to show me tomorrow? Do you stand on your square or are you flopping in the wind?
I am not flopping, and I am not a square, sir.
Hey, some ladies
I
like
didn't call
when
you
you flop.
square. I said
Some
you
ladies like when you flop,
Van
Van
Cat.
Some ladies like when you flop, Van Cat. Sometimes you gotta flop.
Hey man, free the goddamn Strictly Real Masters.
Oh
man.
my God, Trevor!
Last night, me and Mike and Ricardo was doing all them old tunes, and I played that Mad Lion, and I remember that's what I did my solo off of, man. Yo, come on, man.
That's
you gotta
right.
find that.
I gotta drop a feature on it.
Step back when the hammer's on the tap.
That's right, nigga. That's right.
Oh shit! All right, man. I'm out of here, man. I don't want to prolong the show.
All right,
man. See y'all tomorrow.
Me too. I'm gonna let it get back to the triumvirate that it is. I just want to say, Mike is right. Zay is my advocate. Bones is my protection. And you all just heard it. Trevor wants to join the squad. Trevor will be my pseudo conscience. Love and redeem. Y'all know what it is. And Twin, you know what it always is. Love, love. MD, you've been pretty fire tonight, MD. I ain't mad at you. And Van Cat, at least you didn't send me to the backstage. I'm gonna go do some homework.
Oh my God,
Holla
you
at
guys!
your boy.
Oh man. Anyway, by the way, Thinking Black has been hitting it on the chat today. Made some great points. All right, so let's continue on. Anyone has anything else to add to the Latino panel that Trump was on?
Yeah. So I would say this was probably the best town hall that Trump has done in this campaign because it felt organic. It felt real organic. Shout out to the interpreter, man. Hey, somebody need to hire him for some voiceover work. I don't know, but like he got a radio voice, that's for sure. But it felt organic, and those people weren't stupid at all. Now I don't know. I don't know if these people were selected, or I don't know like how they went about doing this town hall, because a lot of these events Trump does, we all know that they hand selected, hand picked, everything is coordinated just how you want it. This didn't feel that way for some odd reason. Those people were well informed. They knew what the hell was going on. You know, these weren't these weren't people at Home Depot. You know what I'm saying? They knew what was happening. So shout out to Univision for putting on that town hall. To me, it was great, and people wanted to know. They said, "Hey, look, this is the issue. What are you gonna do about it?" And Trump had no answer for none of it at all.
That was a tough night for him right there, man. That was a real tough night. Ricardo, anything else further on that town hall?
It's just like, man, I mean, he had a hit and miss in regards to that town hall, because had he just answered the question in such a way where it just that he kept going on, and that didn't make him look good at all. I even saw a woman giving him the what the f in the background while he was talking, and it
Yeah, the crowd reactions had me dying laughing.
like you know, like bullshit that are like, I think one of those things where Mike brought up a valid point where he was run again with the same thing that you've been saying across state. That's what he's been doing. He's regurgitating the same things over and over again. With like the saying goes, you keep saying the same lies over and over again. You think that they might be believable. I think people are wise enough now to see through the BS, because even it was, what was that MD, what's that guy from the early 90s that had a talk show that was once his friend that was like, I'm not going to vote for him this time around because of his anti-immigration stance when it comes to the Hispanic community. I think it's Jesse something. Jesse.
You talking about Geraldo?
Yeah, yeah, there you go. I was way off. Geraldo. He was like, I'm not even going to vote for him because he's affected my community. I'm like, oh, so now he's affecting your community. I mean, you didn't hear him speak the whole time when he was running the last previous, time he was running. It's crazy to me. Like, none of anything that he says made sense. None of it. At one point, he was saying something about cows, and if what are you, sir? The one succinct question that he was asking, even that he could answer, was when he said, "I live in Chicago, and I see how the migrants issues affected my city. What is your position in terms of fixing that issue? And then what was your reason for you blocking the bill?" He still didn't answer the question. I'm like, what was all of that? You go off in a tangent to then still go around the circles to still not answer the question. Still doesn't make sense. It's a problem. You're asked a question, sir. Just answer it to the best of your ability. Don't go in a rampant, crack a babble, because that's my new term now, MD. The crack a babble just goes on and on and on about this and the greatest, and it's just word garbage that he throws in here and there, and you're like, that didn't really answer the question, but you kind of think you sounded good, but really you sound like a moron. Sir, no. That was your biggest missed opportunity when it came to the Hispanic community. You're literally touting about immigrants coming here. And again, MD brought up another good point. There's a specific base or dog whistling that he's doing that particular whole anti-immigration stance to. And he knows who he's doing it to, but I don't think it's working this time around, because people are now beginning to wake up, just like the guy said in the town hall. I voted for you years ago. I don't think I'm going to be voting for you again, because you haven't given me a reason to vote for you on account of what you did last time. And January 6th was one of the main points that he brought up, was like what we saw on January 6th. As a naturalized citizen, what I saw that particular day left a disgusting taste in my mouth. And I'm like, I don't even know what to think of that, because of all the things that they touted and teach you when you become a naturalized, to become a citizen in this country, that literally spit on the face of what I was taught. So I don't know what to think of that. And I think that's something that will forever be a disdain on this country's history. And I don't care what nobody says to me. That can never be a precursor or look at it when it comes to conservatism, because Nixon would be spitting in his grave right about now. That never happened in his party. But I digress, because not Nixon, I mean Reagan is what I meant. Sorry, I'm not a crook. It's not the person I was going for. But I digress. Yeah, it was bad. That town hall, yeah, MD might be saying it was one of the best for him. It was one of the worst I've ever seen. Because he came in looking presidential, but he left looking so moronic and sleepy. And yeah, because you were speaking of Sleepy Joe all this time. You come across sleepy, tired, miserable, arrogant, and well, you look like you're losing your marbles. But what do I know? But I'm not an expert. I'm not a doctor. But Trump Man, no, that was the Hispanic community, and that was a vote that you could have gotten. I don't even know where that goes now for you, but I digress. Jeez, it was bad.
All right, thanks, Ricardo. So you know that early voting has already started in many areas. So let's take a look at this piece about early voting in Florida and other areas, and we'll be back.
Oh, I have a question for all you young voters. If I tell you to go to vote.org and register to vote, would you listen to me? Okay, what if this young woman asked you to do it?
And the fact that this is a fan-voted award and you voted for this, I appreciate it so much. And if you are over 18, please register to vote for something else that's very important coming up.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I have your attention now, right? Well, that's exactly what folks at vote.org want. They have set an ambitious goal this year of registering 8 million new voters. They've already registered 500,000 new voters this cycle, including more 18-year-olds than any previous election cycle.
It's a big day here in South Florida as we're counting down to Election Day, now only 2 weeks away.
Early voting started today in Miami-Dade, Broward, and Monroe counties. And we have crews covering the first day.
Let's start things off with Local 10 Syra Onward. She is live at an early voting location in Fort Lauderdale. How are things looking out there, Syra?
Early votes have been cast as of 3 minutes ago here in Broward County. We're at the Supervisor of Elections office here this morning. We just checked in with Joe Scott, the Supervisor of Elections, to see how things are going this morning. Let's take you to some early morning video, and I'll tell you about how it's been going. So far, there has been a glitch with the Broward Votes website. A lot of websites throughout the state. So the way they are addressing that this morning, Joe Scott told me that they are switching to a different web hosting company to eliminate that issue. However, as far as people coming in to vote, there have not been any issues. None of the 29 in-person early voting locations have experienced long lines. People we spoke to said they've been able to get in and out pretty quickly here. I did speak to Joe Scott about some of the advantages of early voting over waiting until Election Day. You can hear from him now, as well as from someone who came out here this morning to early vote herself. Take a listen. When you wait until the last day to vote, you only have one option. You have to go to your assigned polling place. But if you vote early, if you have a location that's closer to your job, that might be more convenient for most people because you can go during your lunch break, you can go right before you report to work or immediately after you report to work, instead of having to wait until after that commute. On the last day, you might leave work at 5 p.m. There could be an accident on 95 that prevents you from getting to your polling place by 7 p.m.
It's very important to be out today. I cannot stay at home and watch things happening. I'm very excited. I'm very happy today. Whoever people vote for today is very important, and for days to come.
Why did you decide to come early instead of waiting for Election Day?
Because of jobs, I won't have time, so early is better for me.
Better for a lot of people who decided to come out and vote again. More than 9,000 people and climbing so far this morning on the first day of early voting. We'll be keeping tabs on that website glitch. I'll let you know how that progresses throughout the day. But as far as early voting, all of these 29 sites are also drop-off locations. If you have a vote by mail ballot, remember to sign it. You can drop it off at any of these locations within your county. Broward County, come to a Broward site. Miami-Dade County, go to a Dade County site. And you can find out a lot more information about the early voting locations and what you need to bring. You do need to bring your photo ID if you're coming to vote in person. We've got that information on our website. Head to local10.com. We're live in Fort Lauderdale this morning. Syra Onwar, Local 10 News.
Our voices heard for sure. Okay, thanks so much, Syra. Our team coverage now turning to Miami-Dade County.
Local 10's Leanne Motohong is live at an early voting location in Miami. Leanne.
Yeah, we're near Vizcaya. This is in the city of Miami. And if I step out of the way, you can see people have been streaming in and out of this early voting site throughout the morning. In fact, we've even seen some of the candidates on the ballot in this parking lot. Earlier, I ran into Martin Karp. He's running for School Board District 3's seat. He was out here trying to talk to voters before they made their way inside. Of course, there is a sort of a barrier, an invisible barrier as far as how far people people who are actively campaigning for a particular candidate can go. Once you get within a certain number of feet to the polling location, they don't let you try to campaign actively for anyone. So the voters can kind of just get centered and get their heads on straight as they go into the ballot box. This is the first day of early voting in this county. This early voting site is called the Historic Garage, located in Miami, not far from Vizcaya. It's one of several early voting sites now open throughout Miami-Dade County after many important days of testing on this voting equipment.
It really does show the public that they can be confident in the election.
Mail-in ballots are already being processed. More than 111,000 have been counted so far.
We take great measures both from the security, cybersecurity perspective and also physical.
And I just want to mention that on the Miami-Dade early voting section of their website, they do have a portion that talks about wait times at different early voting locations. And I'm happy to tell you that all the early voting locations throughout Miami-Dade County show 0 minutes wait. So that's great news for anyone who wants to be an early bird and beat the crowds on Election Day, which is, of course, November 5th. It's a great time to start getting out to the polls. And again, you can go to any location that offers early voting. You don't only have to go to your assigned precinct. If you happen to be in another part of town that day, you can stop by a precinct in that location and cast your vote.
Yeah, we aren't the only ones up and at it this morning. We got about 20 or so people lined up right now, waiting to get inside and cast their vote as the start of early voting here in Duval County is about to kick off. You can see them opening the doors right now as people are going to start heading in. They've been lined up here for about 30 minutes to some of them as much as an hour, but we've seen poll workers going in and out for about an hour and a half now. This marks the start of early voting here in Duval County. And if you want to vote, you will need 1 or 2 forms of valid and current identification with your signature and photo. That includes, but is not limited to, a Florida driver's license, Florida ID card, U.S. passport, military ID, or student ID. And as we head into early voting and people are heading into the polls right now, a new UNF poll is giving us a sense of how Florida voters are trending in this election. The poll takes a look at how voters feel about the state amendments that you will see on the ballot as you head in there today. Support for Amendment 3, which is the adult personal use of marijuana, is at about 66%, while Amendment 4, or the amendment to limit government interference with abortion, is right at 60%. Each amendment needs 60% or more to pass. And taking a look at the race for U.S. Senate, the poll shows a narrow lead for Republican incumbent Rick Scott. He's sitting at 49%, with Democratic Representative Debbie Murkelsel-Powell at 46%, and 4% of respondents were undecided. So very thin margins in that race at this point, but you can see people heading inside here to vote as doors just opened about a minute ago at this point. So again, doors are open here in Duval. You can go to any polling location to vote during early voting. You don't have to go to any particular precinct. So whatever is most convenient to you, you can certainly go and do that during early voting. And with that said, you can beat some of the lines here too. There's plenty of time to early vote. It's not just today here in Duval County. It's going to go until November 3rd. So you have some time to go and cast your vote. Even if it isn't today, you have some time. November 3rd is going to be the end of early voting. And then, of course, Election Day is on that Tuesday. Reporting live this morning, Chris Will, Channel 4, the local station.
All right, there we go. So in Florida, looks like Rick Scott is in a little bit of trouble as the election at this point is only by 3 points. Very close, much closer than you would think that it should be. As far as Amendment 3 for marijuana, 66%. Amendment 4 for abortion, 60%. Of course, because we have Republicans running this state, it needs to be a super majority of at least 60 votes or more for the bill to pass. As of right now, we're there, but we got to keep it up. So, what did you think, Ricardo, about the polling here?
Well, first of all, I congratulate everyone that gets the opportunity to go out and vote, whether it be mail-in ballots or in person. I say utilize your civic duty. It's one of the greatest things of being a citizen in this country, even being naturalized, is to vote. And that's one of the catalysts for me becoming a citizen last time around for the 2020 election was to become a citizen so I could vote. It's very important. It's a civic duty that I don't think anyone should pass up. When you get a chance to vote, just go ahead and do so. Whoever you vote for when you're in the ballot or in the million box, the drop off, it's your decision. It's no one else. You don't have to disclose that. That's another thing that I think they need to stress. We don't need to know who you vote for. Just vote, but just make sure you make the wise decision of voting. What I thought about the whole thing here in Florida, because MD is in Georgia, and who there's a plethora of other people and listeners from all over the country. But I'm going to speak only for the Florida basis here. We have a number of things or ballots that things that we are discussing on the ballots here, and one of them I've seen it. I'm sure you've seen it yourself too, Van Cat, is the whole Amendment 4 and 6. I think one of them is the whole putting the option into the citizens of Florida to make the decision about abortion, because I remember I think it was April, May, the DeSantis decided to push the initiative of like you can't. I think it's 6 weeks. Once you hit the 6 weeks, you can't do the abortion, because it's like one of those.
Which many women don't even know they're pregnant at that point.
And that's the other thing, which is so weird to me, because test, I think 6 weeks is usually a whole month. So it's based on when you got your last cycle or period or whatever, and then you have to factor that in. So if you're wanting to do an abortion, if it hits the 6 weeks or if you're at the 6 weeks threshold, you can't have the abortion. You have to then give reasoning as for what, and there's a whole bunch of roadblocks that you then face at that point. So they put it on the ballot for us, people who live here in Florida, to make a decision. Do you want it to be a decision where you can then go back to how it was, or do you still keep the stance of what DeSantis have? I think it's more likely going to pass, even though they don't want it to, because the amount of ads I've seen is just weird as hell, because they're going from the prospect. Let me know if I'm wrong, Van Cat. It's from the position of, if you're a teenage girl and you have sex, and it's like, no, I get that point of view, but what if you're a grown-ass adult who's 40, that maybe going from 20 to 30 to 40? You can't tell a grown-ass adult how to police their genitals. Are you kidding me right now? Like, what they do with their decision is up to them. I'm pro-choice in some aspects, but I believe that it's not a decision to tell people who are mature enough to understand what it is or whatever their stance are, that the government should never, and this has always been my thing, even though I'm uber conservative, I don't believe the government should be telling people what to do with their bodies. It's just that there's certain things you just don't go into, and that's one of them. You don't tell me what to do in my bedroom. You don't tell me what to do with my body. You don't tell me. There's certain things I understand that you expect that you put in place in terms of like what you call it, a guideline or whatever, because again, you still need the government to put out certain things, like the airline industry is safer because of the multiple crashes that we went through, and the government had to step in. We enforced the seatbelt rule or law, because we used to drive without seatbelts and crash and died. So there's certain instances where the government had to step in, but in this particular stance, I don't believe they're going to win, because I'm talking scientists. When it comes to abortion, there's certain elements. If somebody is being raped at that particular point, you can't then force somebody to then have the person's be. Are you kidding me? Like, they shouldn't be going through that issue. What about a woman that has a stillborn? Why are you then forcing that? Like, there's certain things that don't make sense.
Forcing them to give birth to a child that's not viable, putting their lives on the line in the process.
Right. So I think those are things that I think you can look at it one way, but I see it from the perspective of the conservative way of looking at it. But then there's other ways where you say to yourself, okay, but What about the other side of this, where it doesn't have to be a teenage person, it could be a grown woman or whatnot who might bleed profusely. That there's certain things you can't look past. I think that's the main problem. The other thing that I keep seeing in the ad is this whole thing of them now Florida to become California, where people are smoking weed and they're saying stuff like babies are coming in with their eyes rolled back. And I'm like saying to myself, but what are you guys talking about? Like, isn't this supposed to be like I'm sorry. They're saying that they're trying, like, the whole thing about marijuana being legalized here, it's going over a little bit overboard. And DeSantis, you're wasting too much of our taxpaying money to be doing the abortion propaganda and the legalized marijuana thing. I think it's a little bit over excessive for me. But with that being said, I think people are going to make a choice because we're in a red state. We already know, Venkat, how that works. But I really overwhelmingly think this election might change the whole red stance thing for me, as well as other people that have won, because I think a lot of people have different viewpoints when it comes to abortion and when it comes to legalizing marijuana here. So we'll see what happens with the. But overall, I think those are the major two things. I don't think they put on there this time. I don't remember if you saw it, Venkat, about the minimum wage. I barely saw anything come up about that on here.
Yeah, yeah, it's weird.
Yeah, like they usually put that on the ballot. See anything here regarding that, which is very strange to me. It's just mostly about the justices that we're going to pick, which is the usual thing,
Yeah.
and abortion and Amendment 4 and 6. That's the
Well, the $15 minimum wage been passed in 2020, and we're just doing $1 a year till we get to $15. But they should have put it back on the ballot for 17, like Bernie Sanders. If it's me, it's $20. But Bernie's conceding and trying to like negotiate at the 17 mark, but it should really be $20 minimum wage. But then and that'll pass too. I mean, even Republicans are voting for that type of stuff. So they know they lose if that stuff goes on a ballot. They're going to lose. All these progressive initiatives are all going to pass if it comes on a ballot, and they know that. The moment stuff like that goes on a ballot, abortion goes on a ballot, it's going to pass. No matter how red the state is, it's going to pass because the majority of the people in America will back a progressive. I would say 8 times out of 10, 9 times out of 10, a progressive bill will pass in America. And they know this. It's been happening forever.
For the longest time, but I think the thing about it is that they were back over a red state, and people are always going to vote red. I think you're beginning the state kind of switch a little bit to purple. It might be wrong, but there's certain stances that I don't think well in the face of how far progress. There's so many things now where you can't hide how you feel about an abortion bill. I mean, you could come by the same length and breath. Life happens, and life will always life. So they can't be looking from a teenage view. You have to look at it from someone. What woman is an adult or grown who probably went through something distressing where she's eating profusely and she's having an abortion. Are you then telling her she can't have an abortion? The doctor will be reprimanded, or you're gonna go show up at her. Oh, give us your records because you have free. That doesn't work. So people the will be.
See, even Trevor agrees minimum wage should be $20 an hour. In this economy, in this reality we live in right now, that's like lightweight work.
But we did when we went through that though, Venkat, when we talked about wage going up in the state. Remember what the answer to that? We're gonna in all night. We're gonna get rid of such and such. So they're like, oh, that's one. Then we're gonna go automated for McDonald's now. The machines will then make your burger, and we're like, what? Why does that have to be the answer to the wage up in the state? It's like it's baffling why they always come up with the scaremongering to get a point across. What we're times have changed so much. It's not the age anymore. They need to be paid their fair wages, and it should, if not $20 per hour, it should be at least 18 or 18.50. we're way behind. This state should not have had to be at $7 an hour for 10 years. That's crazy to
Oh
me.
yeah. Oh
Like,
yeah.
when I came into this state, which was like what, 2001, 2000, it was at $1 an hour. I was baffled because that's literally how much they were paying for. Thank God that wasn't the actual that I got, because I sure damn as well worked, negotiating. But
And
that's
they go trouble with another great point there. That's nothing in Florida. You can't get a 2-bedroom for less than $2,000 a month.
you're not getting
That's in a decent area. I mean, that's real what he's saying.
Yeah, you're not getting the 2-bedroom for $2,000 anymore. It's probably like 2,500 going to $3,000.
It's even more.
Yeah,
To your point.
So that's crazy. But yeah, that's the point, because Florida now has a lot of people that come into the state, mostly New Yorkers, and people in California that literally here but buy back out. So they're bringing up the housing boom and all of that, and then it's the inflation more crazy, ridiculous compared to everyone. So it's something that they had. I thought they would have put all this on the ballot, but again, this is this state that we're talking about. All in all, I think when it comes down to the voting, I wish there was more choices on the ballots. I think it was very watered down. Maybe I'm wrong with that, Vancat, but I think you probably feel the same way. It wasn't like the previous election in 2020 where the ballot had a lot of issues on there. It just seems very watered
Oh
down.
yeah. I remember I remember that.
It's weird, very weird. I mean, I must have missed something there, but I'm like, there was not a run on, which is strange to me, because usually they would put the minimum wage. They would usually put like, do you prefer them changing the senators running for like 10 years to 5?
I voted against increasing the sales tax. They're talking about they want to build some kind of church or some roads or something. They've been building stuff forever. I ain't paying no more goddamn. I keep my 52 cent. Thank you. I am not paying that tax. And look, I'm a tax. I'll gladly pay a tax, but when I see it not going anywhere, then I can't be down for that. But tax me for stuff, but I should get something out of it. I should see some progress. If I don't see a progress, then you can't go no more, because it's been like decades, man. They keep adding a new tax for this. Oh, let's charge another 7 cents. Let's charge another 20 cents. Nah, we ain't charging nothing.
And to add on the point, that guy that looked like the alien from The Simpsons, he has a weird eye. I don't see him in. I think he's gonna come close, because what's her name is, I've seen ads of her than him. But I will say the all those people that have been in this platform for years and haven't moved, I think they're now getting the challenge that there's a lot of people calling Ted Cruz, you're skating by on water.
Ted Cruz is in big trouble. Ted Cruz is in big trouble. And Kamala Harris is campaigning there. I think either was today, tomorrow. She's going to Texas. So Texas is in play. They ain't some big trouble if Texas is in play, because California ain't in play. That ain't in play. Texas in play.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that I think this time around I've noticed there's a change in this.
They keep saying this election is going to be tight. The last, I would say, week and a half, 2 weeks, the stuff I've been seeing, I don't think it's going to be that close.
No,
I don't think it is as close as what they're saying. And I think the media has a very big interest to promote it as being close, to have us already conditioned to be like, oh, okay, we got to go to the TV and look at it every hour and hour, and for their ratings and stuff like that. But I'm not feeling this is going to be close. I could be the biggest dumbass come election day with a lot of egg on my face, but it might not be that close.
Yeah, if 19 million people are, I don't think it's, and we've seen the whole thing. I'm gonna shut up soon, so MD. But we've seen.
Yeah, and speaking of MD, MD said he was going to vote on Wednesday. MD, you voted already, or is it next Wednesday?
No, I voted today.
Oh, you voted today.
Yeah.
You did it in person.
Nah, yeah, I
Oh,
did in person. Yeah, I dropped off my mom's. She had a mail in. I dropped hers off. And voted. I live in a different county, so before I left, since I was off today, I went on and voted today, and then I dropped my mom's off
And
in
was the
her
lines
county.
big?
No, not at
Oh,
all.
wow.
okay.
Yeah, I was in and out.
Yeah, that's the beauty of early
Yeah.
voting. You don't have to worry about these long
Yeah.
lines.
Now let me ask you, because according to that, and correct me if I'm wrong. I'm just going off of what the newsreel said. So the way early voting works in Florida, you don't have to be in your district during
Right.
early vote. You can just vote anywhere.
Anywhere you want to. But
Oh, that's cool
on
too. Yeah,
election
because
day,
it's different here.
yeah, I'm sure it is. On election day, that's the only time you have to vote in your district.
Okay, yeah, that's convenient. That's real convenient. Because
Yeah.
it don't matter. Early voting, election day. Here, you got to be in your district to vote.
Oh wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
If you work outside of your district and then you have to go back, that's a lot of work. And I'm surprised Georgia
Yeah.
didn't cool.
Yeah, especially if you coming out of work and you want to go right into voting and there's a place across the street. Why should you have to drive all the way to your
across the
you got a place right there?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know, but yeah, that's the way it works here. So yeah,
Well,
that's real
Georgia's the place
convenient.
where you can't give anybody a bottle of water. You get
Yeah. You can do. Yeah, I noticed that in that news clip you played too. Yeah, like it's a certain perimeter. Like you can't do no type of campaign at all.
no.
If you get caught, that's it. That's your. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, like you said, like, you can't even spit in another person's mouth. The quench their thirst. You can't do none of that. Right, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, it was real easy. It was, but I will say this year, and I don't know, it's that people just exhausted. They want to get it over with this year. It seems like it's more enthusiasm when it comes to early voting. Like I said, we talked about it last week. All types of records shattered here in Georgia.
Yep.
I think right now we almost to 2 million voters already. So it's a lot of enthusiasm, and I think a lot of it got to do with people want to get it over with. And I can agree, because I want to get it over with. So from that aspect, yeah, it's a good thing to see the enthusiasm. As far as Florida go with y'all prop votes, and that's another question I had. So we might have to do some research on this, Frank. In Florida, the way the prop vote is put into place, it's just giving the protection to have the abortion. It's not giving government access to abortion. Am I correct on that?
That I'm not sure about. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
We'll have to
we're
find that out.
gonna have to do some more research on that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I do know, to Ricardo's point, any type of proposition vote that comes into play, it don't matter what state it is. Prop votes don't come into place from the legislature itself.
Correct.
It's basically petitioned, to use a lack of a better term. So I don't know who petitioned the vote. I'm pretty sure it was probably like an advocacy group or some type of civil rights group.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that lets you know, going back to Vankat's point, a lot of these progressive, I don't even really want to call it progressive, because at the end of the day,
it's progressive, sir.
Well, okay. Let me ask you this then. So is any type of civil rights act lesser or more a progressive act? I don't believe that it is. I just think it's a right is a right.
That's a definition of progressive.
Nah, I can't. I don't know about that, because
you try. So civil rights would be like voting rights, right?
Right.
Okay, then. So when Martin Luther the King sat down there with LBJ, that was a progressive bill. That was a bill that moved.
I disagree. And the reason that I disagree. The reason I disagree with it is because us as American citizens should have already had that right to begin with.
Yeah, we
For
should.
me to
We
say
should.
something that is progressive, that would be me saying that something should be moving forward. That's not the standard of us as a society now. Voting rights wasn't no standard for nobody. It was a right of Americans that we didn't have. So I can't call it progressive because that was somebody disenfranchising us. Going back to what Mike said.
So
Any
was
type
it able to vote? What was that when they got their right to vote?
that was
That
something
wasn't progressive.
that no that was actually, if you want to give it a term like that, I
Yeah.
would say it was more libertarian than anything. Why? Because everybody has access to rights. Now, if somebody else oppressing those rights don't make it progressive, it just make it right. Progressive
Mm.
meaning progressive meaning moving forward past the status quo of what the society already knows about.
But you
That's
could,
what I mean. That's what I
but
look at as
you
progressive.
could do that with anything. You could just
You're
go
right.
back in history and take away a progressive idea or bill and say it's not progressive by using that slant the whole
Right.
time. Because
Now
like
I give you.
children
Go ahead.
working, like when
That's
they stopped that was progressive.
taking away child labor. Yes, that's progressive. I agree.
But you
I
could
agree with that.
say
But
that
that's
you know
different.
no, but you can say the same thing you're saying about the women's right to vote and the black right to vote. You can
No,
look at
no,
it the same exact way.
actually no, because again, we're talking about something that's constitutionally bound. If somebody's taking away your constitutional rights and you fighting to get it back, that's not a progressive act. That's you just fighting your right from a libertarian standpoint, meaning my freedom, right? My
Mm.
freedom to do something is by the very foundation libertarian. That's just a fact. Progressive is something, again, moving forward to the status quo, i.e., let's give an example. Labor union. That's progressive because that ain't in nobody's right to form no union. But we created it from a constitutional aspect for it to be so. That's progressive. You see what I'm saying?
Okay.
But something that's already constitutionally bound and somebody disenfranchising your constitutional right, I don't look at that as progressive. That's just me. Like I said, we could debate on it, but that's just me.
Okay.
Like that Prop 3 vote, that's progressive. Having the right to smoke some weed, that's progressive.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's not. It ain't nothing that our forefathers said. Oh, you got the right to roll up some tree. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? But the laws have stated so on and so forth that but based on whatever value system, they don't want you to do it. Now all of a sudden it's okay. Okay, cool. Roll up.
Yeah.
But abortion rights being something that involves your own person and what you do. Yeah. That, like for me again, like I was saying last week, this shouldn't even be a conversation in my eyes. Like, what are we talking about here?
It
You
shouldn't
should
be.
you
It shouldn't be.
yeah, you should definitely have the right to have abortion. Again, you're gonna pay for it. And I don't know the ins and outs of this amendment, so I can't speak on it. But I
Right.
don't know if the Florida
Well,
healthcare system is going to provide said abortions for like
I'm sure they fight
Medicaid
not
stuff
to.
like that.
I'm sure
well,
they fight not to do it.
well. The whole point of it is for constitutional amendment. So it's amendment to limit government interest with abortion. If they ask you questions about when you had the abortion done, do you have the right to disclose that yes you did or you didn't? Like, you know what I mean? That's the part where it's like weird, because why would you then need to verify that information? If I'm a grown ass adult and my wife decides that she wants to have, God forbid, an abortion, who are you to then come knocking on my door or calling my phone asking me or my wife if she had an abortion? It's none of your damn business. That's where you hear me say the government needs, there's certain things where they get involved in. There's certain things you don't need to be involved in. And one of them where people who are mature enough to make that decision, let them make that decision. It's not your job to police and tell a woman how to police her vagina. That's none of your business. Stay out of grown folks' bedroom, grown folks' decisions. Focus on legislation where you need to legislate that, but it's a prop vote. So like MD says, it doesn't. It's just there to what you call it. It doesn't really make a huge impact unless it's like because it was, if I'm not mistaken, MD, wasn't this still one of those things? If Roe versus Wade was canceled by the by SCOTUS, why is it then coming into the fruition here in the local aspect of it all? Like it's if you need to push back and send it back to SCOTUS, would they then make a decision on behalf of like Florida's legislation?
Yeah, they can't do that. Yeah, Supreme Court can't do that. Now the state Supreme Court can. But it's out of Supreme Court hands. They ain't got nothing to do with state law. They can't do nothing about state law.
So that's, I think that's the basis of it. But that particular amendment is for the government to ask you if you did, do the abortion, and they are allowed to, I guess, investigate you or find out if you did or didn't. At any given stage, you're looking at it from an aspect of a teenager or a young teen that might have, had sex and, decided, hey, I'm going to have an abortion because it's going to ruin my life. But on the flip side to that, you could have adults that are in their 20s, 30s, 40s that are like, hey, I have an illness, or my child might have I might have a child out of stillborn or something, and I might be bleeding profusely. How are you going to tell me that I can't have an abortion to take out that child out of me? That's crazy. That's what I'm talking about. Like, they look at it from a one-dimensional perception where it could be a different way in terms of how it's analyzed. So it's going to be one that particular amendment I don't see not pass it. I think it's going to pass again because people are going to be like, hey, I get it. It's the whole conservative Christian, evangelical group people that are saying, hey, abortion is wrong, you're killing babies. But on the flip side of that, you're not looking at it from adults' perspective of like people who are 1.5 kids, and then God forbid, the kid died in the stomach and all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, hopefully it's not being conflated what I'm saying, but that's what I think they're forgetting to think about. And that's where people are going to look at it. And then the recreational use of using marijuana, are you kidding me? Of course people are going to vote for that. Why? I think they put it on the last ballot, Vank, and if I'm not mistaken, it was on there the last time, and it didn't fly. I think it's going to pass this time because people are like, hey, why are the police going to arrest me for smoking weed? It's stupid. But I digress. We'll see, because it's a red state. It's DeSantis. It's his people wasting our taxpaying money, by the way, to do these stupid ads about not turning to California and not killing babies and God and all this crap. But I digress. We'll see what happens. But it's one of those things where the amendments are like very like skewed, but the two I hear about is 6 and 4, and that's the only thing I hear when there's others on the ballot. But I digress.
All right. So before we go into the lame duck, I just want to do a quick 3-minute update on what's going on in Israel. Israel's war. Let's take a look at this real quick.
In Yahya Sinwar's hometown of Khan Yunis, a tribute to the slain leader of Hamas before Friday prayers. For the past several weeks, Israel said its 828th Brigade had been sweeping southern Gaza, including the Tel al-Sultan refugee camp in Rafah, where IDF soldiers on Wednesday spotted 3 masked militants and exchanged grenades and gunfire, killing 2. The third, a wounded Sinwar, ran into a heavily damaged building where the IDF says a drone found him slumped over. From the street, a tank took aim and fired. Only the next day could Israel confirm this was Sinwar.
Bye-bye, Sinwar.
Joy was immediate for many in Israel, but not for all.
And what went through your mind?
Glad is not the right word, because you never want somebody to be dead.
Merav Gonen is the mother of Romy, now 24 years old and still a hostage in Gaza.
In the tunnels without daylight, can you imagine not to see your daughter for a year? I don't know how she looks like.
Israel says its highest priority is to bring home all hostages, but has resisted renewed calls for peace, instead escalating its offensive in northern Gaza.
We have made phenomenal military progress, eliminated much of Hamas, but we're not at the day after.
While Hamas officials in Gaza vowed to fight on. I don't think Sinwar's death will impact the war, says Ismail al-Sawarta, The Palestinian resistance is not led by a single individual.
But who will now lead Hamas is still a big unknown. Yahya Sinwar's brother Mohammed could assume the role. He is believed to still be alive in Gaza. There's the group's top ceasefire negotiator. That's Khalil al-Haya, and also Hamas's leader before Sinwar. That is Khaled Mashal, and he's living in Qatar. Rami Inocencio, CBS News, Tel Aviv.
والله يا جماعة واحد والله ايش بخصك انت ايش بخصك قلت جيراني يا ابوي الله اكبر يلا
Okay, that's Israel's war. More casualties, more deaths. MD, what did you think here about the video we saw on what's going on in Israel right now?
Well, first of all, let me say anybody that believes that getting the hostages back is Israel's top priority is smoking on something and waiting on Prop 3. They don't give a damn about the hostages. As a matter of fact, I would go as far as to say, now this is going to sound morbid, but I would go as far as to say that the majority, if not all, the hostages is probably dead right now. That's just a whole fact. Look at the devastation that's going on in Gaza right now. Like, who got the resources or the time to maintain the upkeep of some hostages? You ain't got time for that. You don't know when the next bomb gonna blow you up. You know what I'm saying? Like, it is what it is, man. Folks got to start living in reality. Now, they showed them people celebrating about Sinwar's death. At the same time, what they didn't show is the protest going on, like what the hell going on with the hostages on that same day. This is ridiculous, man. How cowardly. How cowardly. They flew the drone in the building. The dude's sitting slumped over because, you know, you've been wounded or whatever. And then you blow it up with a tank. Coward. The Israeli army don't want no smoke on the ground. That's just a whole fact. You know what I'm saying? Anybody believe they can hang with Hamas like in a ground war is stupid. They got the technology to do it, but they ain't got the heart. That's just a whole fact. If it came down to ground troop versus ground troop, Hamas probably would win. Because Israel ain't equipped mentally to do something as far as a ground invasion. That's why it ain't happened yet. They've been sending little troops in here and there. And hell, a lot of them been getting smoked too. You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is, man. Like I said, this whole situation, man, I'm over it. You know what I'm saying? At this point, hell, as a Palestinian, shit's gonna blow me up anyway. Hey, let's do it. That's the way I feel about it at this point. You know, if you're gonna do what you do, just finish. I'm like Trump, finish the job. If you ain't gonna do that, man, listen. Do something from a diplomatic standpoint to help them people. That's just what it is. And like I said, I don't know if Kamala gonna do that. I know for sure shit Trump ain't gonna do it. But we got to start dealing in reality when it comes to what the situation is in Gaza, in Lebanon, in the West Bank. They want these people dead. At the very least, they want them out of the way. You know what I'm saying? And the more people understand that, the more they can understand just the desolation in which them people living in right now. That's just a whole fact. Hamas ain't going nowhere. I don't give a damn how many of them you kill. They ain't going nowhere because it's a mentality. It ain't no group. It's a mentality. These people are stupid.
All right, thanks, MD. Ricardo, what are your thoughts on Israel's war?
Yeah, man. So I guess I guess they confirmed that they killed the Hamas leader or whatnot. To bring up MD's point again, this doesn't change anything for the Palestinian people. We've seen vile, disgusting things that Netanyahu has done with his killer campaign people that are supporting this nonsense. I just want to reiterate something that I think a lot of people are not paying attention or close to, but is that ultimately the U.S. will not leave Israel's side no matter what. So it comes down how much they're manipulating the whole situation on the front. They're using a lot of drones. They're using a lot of missiles that are like bombarding in innocent people. And it's not even like you can say they're killing innocent men. They're killing children. I'm literally seeing the things that I've seen from the onslaught of October 7th of last year now is beyond anything I've ever thought I would see in my lifetime. And it goes to how much we've been predicated on the propaganda machine that is coming from over that side. It's very scary. I think France had put their foot down sometime this week, and it literally sent off, I guess, a firestorm on Israel's end. So they're here huffing and puffing, but you do nothing when it comes to France, because France is one of the biggest economical powers in the world. So what you going to do, Israel? I'm confused. What are you trying to say? Oh, I guess because if we put a tin hats on, the amount of influence Israel has in terms of the Zionist point of view from the media aspect, I guess they went and pulled their money and whatnot from elsewhere. I don't know what they were going on and on about, but it's crazy how much politics and propaganda and war machines and investments and all this stuff comes to play when it comes to this whole war. It's like MD said, I'm a little bit over it now too. It's getting to the point now where it's either y'all resolve this issue or shut up about it, and not shut up where we ignore the Palestinians, but I'm sick and tired of hearing Israel's rhetoric where it's just like it's not believable anymore, because most of those hostages, like Emily said, are probably dead at this point. Like there's no way you can hide that. But if you're thinking that this whole thing is about them liberating the hostages, it's a propaganda machine. It's annoying to me that people are still believing the crap going on and on about this. But it's a little bit annoying to me, and I wish this would have been more of a presidential issue. But it looks like the only people that really care, and I hate to say this because Trump is on one side and Kamala's on the other, and I take Kamala's side, where I'm not going to support this Zionistic point of view where they're going all Israel and they did this, but yet you're killing the people. It doesn't make any sense. And last week we saw people burning, on IVs, on IV plugs, like literally burning in fire and literally scorched. And no one said anything about it. He said, when I mean no one, the media on this side didn't say anything about it. It's like they completely swept it under the rug. That is crazy to me. We live in a world where everything is expressed in real time. And anything that we saw this spring, when Iran did their protests in real time, and that was a thing where everybody supported that. Now when we see innocent people being killed, it's like, oh, we're going to be silent. That's crazy. I can't stand for that. That's berserk and nuts to me. But I digress. I just want it to be resolved, but it's not going to be resolved in the way that we want it to be resolved. But I hope Western powers put their foot down. When it comes to Israel, I get it. We will support them in everything that we do, but we don't support bratty behavior where you think you could get away with a lot of stuff, and it's actual military things that you're using. So I don't see why we can't see them continue with the BS and we'll pull back, because that's the only way you could get them to stop. But I don't think they're going to be doing that, because they know they could get away with murder, and they know when I say us, the United States will always be on their side. So it's like you got to draw the line somewhere. If we can draw the line with NATO, I don't see why we can't draw the line with Israel. That's just me, but whatever.
All right. So right now we're going to get into session. We're going to go to the lame duck session, and we'll be back with lame duck number 61.
First things first, in this lame duck session.
For the United Nations General Assembly to share the extraordinary progress we've made In less than 2 years, my administration has accomplished more than almost any administration in the history of our country. America's so true. Didn't expect that reaction, but that's okay.
Right.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
You're trying your best, but it never feels like enough.
I started having second thoughts almost the moment I sat down on the plane.
Lights off! Off! Turn them off. They're too bright. Turn them off. Turn them off. Let's go. Ready? Turn
We go back a long way. She was 12, I was 30, but anyway.
So I changed my return flight and flew back on the first available flight I could take.
I'm sick and tired of smart guys.
I'm sick and tired of ordinary people being fleeced.
I'm tired of being quiet.
Yeah, I'm sick and tired. I'm just sick and tired. We have this notion that somehow if you're poor, you cannot do it. Poor kids are just as bright and just as talented as white kids.
With great power comes great responsibility.
These lights are so bright in my eyes that I can't see too many people out there. But I can only see the black ones. I can't see any white ones. You see? That's how far I've come. That's how far I've come. That's a long way, isn't it? These lights. You want to see a bird graveyard? You just go. Take a look. A bird graveyard? Go under a windmill someday. You'll see more birds than you've ever seen ever in your life.
Impact Plastics in Irwin to see if the company broke any laws after some of its workers died in flooding brought on by Helene.
Unicoi County Court this week. It says Peterson's death was preventable. The company didn't have required evacuation protocols in place according to the lawsuit, and top management took a different exit than workers did to escape as the floodwaters started to rise.
The last text message Johnny Peterson ever sent was to his father. It's heartbreaking. His dad asked him if he's okay. His response, not for long. Peterson is one of 5 people who died when floodwaters rushed the building and parking lot at Impact Plastics in Irwin on September 27th. His family is now suing the company for $25 million, saying his death was due to their negligence. Attorney Zach Lawson says based on his firm's investigation, no one should have died that day.
What's become increasingly clear is that the tragedy there was entirely preventable.
A 28-page complaint filed in Unicoi County alleges Impact Plastics was open for business on September 27th, even though government offices, schools, and nearby businesses weren't, because the company had a large order to get out to its customers. The complaint also outlines the last hours of Johnny Peterson's life, documenting text messages, videos, and photos he sent to his father and daughter. Just before 11 that morning, his daughter, Alexa Peterson, who's the plaintiff in this case, asked, "Are they shutting it down for the day?" Johnny replied, "They better." About half an hour later, his dad texted him, "You okay? Get your car out?" Peterson said, "I moved it. We can't get out." About half an hour later, Johnny sent another text to his daughter saying, quote, "He can't get out and the water rose so fast." At around 1 p.m., his daughter asked, "Where y'all at?" And Johnny replied, "In bed, 18-wheeler." About 15 minutes later, he sent a text saying, "I love you all." 10 minutes later is when his dad asked if he was okay. And Johnny says he didn't have much time left.
Johnny spent the last hour or 2 of his life trying to save other people's lives.
Impact Plastics owner Gerald O'Connor released a video statement earlier this month. His attorney says he's currently focusing on rebuilding the company, mourning people who died, and investigating what happened.
Employees were told to leave the plant at least 45 minutes before the gigantic force of the flood hit the industrial park. There was time to escape.
Lawson says employees were only told they could go move their cars.
At no point did the upper management, the officers that were there at Impact Plastics, actually tell employees to leave or that they could leave, despite multiple employees asking if they could leave.
Remember the story about the Tennessee factory workers who were forced to work through Hurricane Helene, which ultimately resulted in 6 workers dying. Well, in a new lawsuit, the company and its CEO are being sued by the family of one of the deceased workers, with a lawsuit claiming that the company's CEO, Gerald O'Connor, stealthily exited prior to the hurricane hitting. How convenient for him. The company is Impact Plastics, based in Irwin, Tennessee, and according to the lawsuit, the workers were denied requests to leave ahead of the hurricane, and they were told that they needed to stay in order to meet order deadlines. Meanwhile, Tennessee and neighboring states were all bracing for the hurricane, which was forecast to be deadly and dangerous, and the factory specifically was under a flash flood warning. As for the company's CEO, O'Connor, quote, stealthily exited the building out of the back door while other workers were trapped inside the factory. And the suit alleges that 11 workers from Impact Plastics were swept away in floodwaters, and 6 are confirmed to have perished. And the family's lawyer has said Impact Plastics was aware of the flood risks, and while employees requested permission to leave, the company failed to act. We will hold them accountable. As for O'Connor, he released a video. I think calling it an apology video might be a bit of a stretch, but he did have some things that he wanted to get off his chest. We can't actually show you the video for copyright reasons, but here are some of what he had to say regarding the incident. He started off by introducing himself, and then he leapt right into this. It says, due to death threats against me and my family, and to reduce the stress on local law enforcement that now needs to be focused on recovery operations, I'm with you by this video. The flood of September 27th took from our Impact Plastics family some great employees. We are heartbroken about our loss and will keep those who have now passed in our hearts forever.
State agencies are investigating a plastics factory. Company is accused of not letting employees leave with enough time to escape Hurricane Helene's flooding. It turns out the factory was investigated several other times for safety and health violations. Courtney Allen has a story.
Multiple employees of Impact Plastics are still missing, more than a week after Hurricane Helene floodwaters hit the factory.
Was there ever a point where you did not think you were going to survive?
Oh, yes, definitely.
While employee Jacob Ingram survived, at least 2 others did not.
We have no power at work. This is at Impact Plastics. This is the parking lot.
The circumstances that led to those workplace deaths are now at the center of a probe by the Tennessee Occupational Safety and Health Administration.
Well, I just wish the others were here with us, too.
We found Tosha's investigated Impact Plastics several times since the company was founded in 1987. Most recently in 2010, Tosha found 4 serious safety violations regarding working spaces and more. The company's paid thousands of dollars in penalties over the years. Tosha says the inspections date back decades and some standards may have changed.
I'm Gerald O'Connor, founder and president of Impact Plastics.
The law firm now representing O'Connor did not comment on those previous violations and says O'Connor's concentrated on working with official agencies to review what happened on September 27th.
We are heartbroken, as you are, about our loss, and will keep those who have now passed in our hearts forever.
But we will turn him on. Courtney Allen with that story. The company president's lawyers also said he is seeing to the needs of members of the Impact Plastics family. However, the family of a missing worker said on Monday they still have not heard from O'Connor or anyone else from Impact Plastics.
We didn't know what to do. We were in panic mode. So the water was coming up, and then we did what we had to survive.
You can see that destruction right behind me, and that's actually Impact Plastics right there. The pain is deepening for families still waiting for answers.
When they told us we could leave, it was just too late. I mean, there was no way out. Some people made it out with forward drive, but if you didn't have forward drive, it was too late.
I want to know why the help didn't come to rescue the people that were there, his wife included. There was 5 people on top of a trailer calling 911, calling for help.
There are families of the workers missing from Impact Plastics. They continue to search for answers about the search for their loved ones.
It breaks my heart for them people that we lost. They were good. Every one of them were good people. I work with them every day, and we're like family. We cut up, we joked there, and it broke my heart to see that they died and that they didn't make it, all because of greed, I think.
Guadalupe has not spoken to her sister, Monica Hernandez, since Friday morning. Their last conversation together, leaving her distraught.
diciendo que estaba en la fábrica.
She was saying they were inside the factory and that she was on top of a trailer and saying goodbye and telling us to call 911 and pray for her.
When they tried to leave, it was too late.
We were all working and the power went out, and I got a text right when the power went out from another employee saying that the parking lot was flooded. I said, can we leave? And the woman said, no. About 10 minutes later, she came back and said, y'all can leave. It was too late. We had one way in, one way out. And when they told us we could leave, the one way out was blocked off. I lost my car and started floating down the river. Guy in a 4x4 came, picked a bunch of us up and saved our lives, or we'd have been dead too.
What does that feel like now to be, one of the, few that made it out? I don't know how many.
It hurts. It hurts knowing that they didn't make it and I did. I don't know. I mean, it just doesn't seem fair to me that they didn't make it.
Impact Plastics released a statement on Monday about the plant evacuation. We reached back out to them again today to see if they wanted to respond to the workers' claims. They referred us back to the original statement from yesterday that said in part that bilingual managers delivered the message to leave the area to the non-English speaking employees and that most left immediately. Some remain for unknown reasons.
Why'd you make us work that day? Why? We shouldn't have worked. We shouldn't have been there. None of us should have been there. And that's what I should say to him. Why did you make us work when you knew you were taking a statement, you were monitoring it? Why'd you make us stay and work?
All right. All right. There he goes. There he goes right there. Put the spotlight on this big tub of lard. Number 61, trash bag human of the week. We talking about this bloated piece of trash, Gerald O'Connor, the CEO with the dubious distinction of putting products and work over people. As a result, at least 6 people are killed unnecessarily. And now we have this situation. So, MD, what do you think about number 61, trash bag human of the week, Gerald O'Connor?
Hey, all I can really say, lawsuit incoming. That's all I can really say, because Impact Plastic ain't gonna be Impact Plastics no more after they done with it, and rightfully so. You know what I'm saying? Rightfully so. He refused based on whatever reason, productivity, if it's whatever reason, for them people to leave after a catastrophic event, and this is the result. Hey, that's his ass. Ain't nothing I can too much say about it. But hey, again, these are the ebbs and flows in a capitalistic society, and this is the important thing that we must talk about, Fat Cat. Because I already know where you want to go. I already know.
Yo, you know, MD. You know.
Yeah, I know. But again, because of the choice that he made, at the end of the day, let me not say that, because I don't want to speak badly about the situation and the people that were involved. If that was me, I wouldn't have gave it. Hell, anybody black, pretty much. And the hell, what you talking? I'm up out of here. You know what I'm saying? Especially if it's something that extreme. I don't give a damn what you're talking about. I'm gone. I'll deal with the consequences later. And we would have had every right to do so. And if he would have tried something, you could have took it to court. Now again, it's sink or swim in terms of the waters of capitalism. Because of the choice that he made, he's gonna have to pay the consequence. That's just what it is. And he gonna pay dearly. He's probably not gonna have a company no more by the time these people get done with it. The
He
families.
might not have life anymore. There's people putting death threats on him.
Well, yeah, I mean, I ain't trying to take it that extreme, but I'm just talking about in the aspect of litigation. You know what I'm saying?
But MD, when you got a special exit route for you and upper executives to leave, and the regular folks got to go this other way that's going to do them in. That's kind of crazy. Like,
Got to
what?
swim through the parking lot.
Oh my God.
Yeah, hey, you're right, man. Hey, I can't, like, I can't defend the actions that he made. I can't defend, and I'm not trying to defend it. But I'm saying in the world in which we live in, as regards to labor laws, whatever bracket you want to put this in, I concur that it was wrong. But I can also identify what's going to take place based on the consequences of his action. That's all I'm saying.
So
Now, let's go into your lane. Would this be possible had them folks, I don't know, let's say, unionized and called for certain parameters to be put in place in regards to these type of events? I don't know.
Bendy, you know. That's the difference with a union and not having a union. You don't have that voice. You don't have that extra protection. And you pretty much, when you don't have that, you get pushed around by punk asses like this. They used to get beat up in this lunch money taken in school. And now in this business world in their older age, they feel like they missed a big shot and they can tell people that can barely speak the language what they can do and what they can't do and blah, blah, blah. This is just gross negligence. And it doesn't make sense on any level. Like they're talking about in the video, they're like, oh, can we go home? I'm like, why were you there? It was very obvious as all the other businesses all around them were closed. All the schools, everything was closed. Everything was closed. They were the only idiots open. It's just ridiculous. So there was no reason because they needed an order to be shipped out. Are you serious right now? That must be a hell of an order.
Because, yeah. I agree. Let me give you a personal story. Now, remember when what was the last one? Milton.
Yeah.
Now, remember when Milton came through? I had a guy. We do Lowe's down in St. Augustine. He originally told him, "Say, hey, look, man, I'm not going down here. This storm about to come." I was informed to say, "Hey, look, just send them down there," and they was gonna put them up in a hotel if it got bad, blah blah. And that's what I told him. I mean, essentially, he said the hell with me, which I get. I mean, I would have said the hell with me. But we another guy, he went down there, and it wasn't that bad in St. Augustine, but they put him in a room and all that stuff. So I can see where you might look at it from an employee standpoint. Again, at the end of the day, you gotta look out for yourself. That you take the job and shove it up your ass if it's gonna risk my life. You know what I'm saying? When it shouldn't have to. I get it. I'm saying that's a personal choice between you and your employer, and the employer is gonna face consequences if you don't do it from an obligation standpoint of protecting you. Because at the end of the day, when he's at your facility, when you're at his workplace doing whatever, essentially, he's in charge of you, meaning that he can be liable for anything happening to you while you're working at that facility. So when you break it down in that aspect, I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm not even going that route. I'm gonna let you handle that. But looking at it from that perspective, that's the way it's going to go in terms of what he's going to have to face. Because the lawsuits is coming. They're coming. So, there's that.
You see, there's a lot of people, there's different types of people that react and behave in different ways. They have trust in authority figures. Whether we agree with it or not, people are more trusting of certain people, like maybe your boss at work, because you feel like they will more than likely, because of the position they have, they're going to do the right thing. A police officer, a teacher, a judge. You expect a certain level of professionalism and honorable behavior. But as we see time and time again, at least 61 times, that honor ain't there. And the thing is, what bothers the hell out of me, I had a similar situation like this. It didn't end up as dire for me, luckily, but about 20 years or so ago with Katrina. Before Katrina destroyed New Orleans, it was in Florida the night before. And, I'm working in a department store, and it's a big ass department store, but there's like 2 customers in the whole freaking place. There's more employees than customers. And the manager is like saying, oh, well, we can't shut down because Publix is still open. And I'm like, what the hell Publix have to do with us? We're selling shirts. They're selling supplies and things that are needed. And he just has us there forever. Come to find out, Publix been shut down. We're the only ones around. So at the last minute, he says, okay, let's go. So now I've been there all day. I can't go get any supply, get ready, get nothing. So we just got to like scurry home. I have to make a U-turn up 441 to go home. I made that U-turn and the rain is coming down. My tires skid. I almost went off the side of the road in the bushes and whatnot. I lost control of the car. And I'm thinking to myself, what am I doing in this situation? And that's why I get like uppity, if I may borrow your words, Ricardo. I just had to get a little uppity sometimes with these corporations because you're in a trusted place. But when you display gross negligence, my life is an afterthought. My situation, and again, we're operating at a loss. Most employees that are working for a company, they're operating at a loss. Most people that are not operating at a loss have a unique scenario, right? What is that scenario? They're still at home with their mom and dad, or they have a partner or whatnot that they can lean on and they carry the load financially. But if you're an individual that it's just you paying your bills, you more than likely you're operating at a loss at every degree, every turn. And when they do this gross negligence of your life, especially when it comes to these storms, you should not be reacting in the last minute to get ready for a storm. There's no reason they should have been there. And that just irritates the hell out of me. Ricardo, any views on this number 61, Gerald O'Connor, human trash bag of the week?
Yeah, just sad all around overall. It's just it's one of those things where it's kind of reminiscent, if y'all remember, and I hate to bring this back up, with those people on the Twin Towers when they were like, oh, they heard there was a plane that crashed in Tower 1. And they were telling people to go back up, even though the actual building is in imminent danger. That makes no sense to me. Like I for the life of me, like MD says, if there was a black employee there, you bet your ass off they would not have gone back in that building. Because you tell them the employees to move their cars on account of it's gonna flood, but then you didn't tell them to leave or evacuate. That's crazy to me. Like that doesn't make sense. As human beings, I don't know why we feel the need to think cooperation has our best interests at heart. So again, we're just numbers, and at the end of the day, common sense needs to take precedence over anything else. Yeah, you work for money, but you need to use your common sense. If most people had used their common sense on September 11, 2001, most of those people would have been alive, because the casualties that occurred wasn't because people couldn't escape, it's because they were told wrong information by the actual building that they worked in. And it's the same thing here. Why are you telling people to go back inside the building when you know goddamn well that they're in imminent danger? That makes no sense. Anywhere I am in the world, it's just like, and I see certain things because I'm like random like that. It's kind of like if you're on the beach and you see water receding far beyond your eyes can conceive. Don't just stand there looking like, oh my God, the water's receding. Run, moron, run. Because what that means is a tsunami is coming literally right after that. So there's certain things I think are like the human psyche is not privy to. In the face of imminent danger, we always think, oh, they're thinking about us, and no, it's a capitalistic world. They're not thinking about you. They're thinking about the money that they're trying to make. So at the end of the day, I still like see the same thing you stated, Venkat. If everywhere else around them was closed, why the hell were they open? Because it wasn't like it wasn't public knowledge that a storm was coming through that area. Everybody knew. So I don't understand what it was that they were trying to get achieved before the storm or whatnot. It didn't make a difference because that could have been done afterwards. And this is a massive lawsuit. It's not even just any lawsuit. He might as well just hand this over to whoever is gonna like penalize him in the end, because you literally that I would be suing you for generations to come. Like, this don't make no sense. None of it makes sense, and nothing in the whole piece. None of it makes sense, because you put people's lives at risk for what? For money? It wasn't that deep. So and it rests in peace those people that lost their lives. But Lord, couldn't be me, because at the end of the day, I love my job. Yes, I do. But when it comes to, and I've, just like you, Venkat, went to something because I work, mostly I don't work. I work in the aviation field. So living in Florida now, it's based on the job that I do. The airports literally get flooded now because on account of warming. So the airport, you get one little bit of drip of water, it floods like crazy. So it's not even like you can escape it. Ask me how I almost put my own risk, because I'm like, oh, I'm going to be a good employee and I'm going to go in, and not taking into account that, hey, I'm driving my car in the front, almost literally in my car, on account of going to work. Like, these are the things that I'm talking about. Do you think I'll actually put my life at risk again for any job like that? No, absolutely not. I have 3 kids and a wife to take care of. I do not have time for that. This is the type of thing that upsets me, because corporations know better, these places know better, but they're not going to think about it. They're going to think about what the books comes into play here, what my money is going to do at the end of the day. That's all they care about. There's when you hear me say that there's certain portions or time frames where the government needs to step in, this is one of them. I don't expect the government to be doing public knowledge about what I do in my bedroom, or about what I do in my whatever time frame and whatnot. But when it comes to safety, public safety, and putting priority when it comes to protecting these people and these employees that lost their lives, that's where there's certain instances they need to step in for that. This could have been preventable. It should have been preventable. But here we are talking about it. And for that dude that, was in the video acting like he has no remorse, I wish you well, because you're almost 6'6", to begin with. So I don't want to say that, to be like negative, but dude, like you showed no remorse, like you didn't even care. It's just like you said so and so and so. It's like you're reading like a freaking robot. Put yourself in those people's shoes. Terrified they were in that moment, and knowing that they're in imminent danger. It's kind of like Katrina, when those people almost drowned in their houses, or being in hospitals, or being in prison, for crying out loud. They can't go anywhere. That's the same exact idea. Like, these are natural disasters. You have to think quick on your feet, and then move imminently quick. It's not one of those things where you could be like, oh, I'm going to think about this for a long 25 minutes. No, you got to move. That's just, I don't even know what else to say about this. Just gross negligence. Gross negligence has been happening since God knows. So cooperation, capitalism, and free market, this is what we get for being in the world's richest country, I guess.
And one more thing, with this orangutan looking nigga, Gerald O'Connor. I mean, this nigga said, oh, we have the employees that we lost. We have their memories in our thoughts and prayers.
That rubbed me
Nigga,
the wrong
don't never say nothing. I don't go off on no damn thoughts and prayers.
Yeah, that rubbed me the wrong way. Because no remorse.
You can't spin thoughts and prayers.
Oh my God. It's crazy, man. So there he is, number 61. More to come, that's for sure, because it's a never-ending pot of these lame ducks. Trash bag human of the week. So, it is at the point of the show we're going to go ahead and sign off, give our final sign offs for the evening. So we'll start with MD 20, political profit amongst men. Final sign off, sir.
Let me show you something real quick in my sign off. Honorable mention for the Ducks, and maybe we'll cue that one up at some point in time. Elon Musk, man.
Oh yeah.
Fine, don't do it, MD. Don't do it. Don't do it.
All right, hey, all right. I'm gonna be quiet. I'm gonna be quiet. Let me show you something real quick, Venkat and Ricardo. See, in Georgia, we don't have to register Republican and Democrat in Georgia. We don't have to do that. But once you vote, that gives the tip off of the stuff that they send you in the mail, right? I'm going through my mail and stuff now that I got before I left the house. Here's one right here. Like all Democratic stuff. I don't know if you can see that.
I see it.
All Democratic stuff, right? And going back to the point that we was making earlier, here's one right here. It's talking about Donald Trump with a question mark, then it got comma on the other side. What does that say right there?
So
black fact.
So, with that being said, there are most definitely high rollers in the Democratic Party as far as the lobbyist wing that are black minded. Now, again, that's very subjective. That's the issue that I have in dealing with identification from a political perspective of what black's supposed to be, because there is no such thing, and nor should there be for anybody. Black, I don't give a damn what you are. So we have to we got to get out of the thought process of first and foremost thinking that there's an affiliation, whatever the situation may be, culturally, politically, verbally, whatever the situation may be in terms of what a black person is supposed to be. Because that sets the stage, right, for these groups, these fringe groups on either side, whether it's Republican or Democrat, left or right, to try to take you out of context and put you in a box of what you're supposed to be. We got to get out of that shit as a people. Now that's coming from me, the individualist, right? Once we can do that, I think we'll be okay, because then you would set a standard of what you're supposed to be. Again, I'm not taking away what you think the political strategy should be for everybody. I can't take that away from you. What I can take away of what you think my political strategy is supposed to be. I think if we do that, we'll be okay. And with that, I say peace.
All right. Thank you, MD. Ricardo, final sign off, sir.
Yeah, I almost wish I didn't interrupt MD to want him to speak about Elon Musk. I will say one thing if we get the chance to about that damn man. I was doing a whole bunch of research today about Elon Musk. I didn't realize how much his hands are in every pot in terms of and why he's so close to Trump now. This man has $16 billion worth of his companies affiliated with every aspect of the government, coming trickle down to from NASA to regular factory working, these things to the trucking industry. It everything is literally tipping in the pot for his company, which is scary to me because they say absolute power corrupts absolutely. There's a reason why he's literally backing Trump, because he doesn't want to be regulated in terms of how he wants to be able to do things freely. And that shouldn't be the case where you're now manipulating and telling people how to do certain things, and then you're running away.
Right.
That's
now put a caveat into that, Ricardo, because I believe in limited regulation. What I don't believe in is manipulating the system.
Right.
And that's what Elon want to do.
But he's
so put a caveat. Hey, I'm telling you, Venkat, if Trump get elected, all that labor union, you kiss all that stuff goodbye.
Yep.
Because if Elon got to do something with it, it's gone.
Yep. $16 billion. That sink into your head. That's how much they're paying him. $16 billion. And he literally wants none of those people on his back. He doesn't want none of the regulations. He wants to be able to go in and let his computers, his robots, his iRobots, as they call them, the Teslas, everything Tesla, literally run the show. And that's something that scares me. You cannot have somebody like how Ford was back in the day, where he literally dictated how we should have 8 hours for a work day. That's literally crazy to me. You can't have that again. So there's certain things that I see him doing, and I'm like, why is he so involved? And then I realized, because I did my research, $19 billion they're paying him. He doesn't want to be told or dictated to in terms of how he runs his show. That's not how it works. We have literally checks and balances for a reason, and that's a problem for me. So people need to be calling him out on what he's doing. It's problematic, but that's for a whole nother show. I think probably something we need to touch on in terms of these people that are like the Musk, them that are like literally like typically running the show or the overhead in terms of how things are run, but then you don't really see them as a big threat they really are. All in all,
Hey, Skynet, man. Like, hey, you know who Elon remind me of? If anybody know about like Alien and the Alien lore, he remind me of like Charles Whalen Industry. That's what he is.
Yeah,
He want to take it over and be immortal and make drones and do all type of stuff, man.
Yeah, he is. Don't get me
With
wrong.
no government oversight.
Yeah,
Trevor, I do have that footage of Trump working at McDonald's, but it was pressed for time today, so I'll play it next week.
Oh, you do?
Sorry about that. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
So, and to add to that whole Trump with McDonald's, if he really did care about those damn people, he would have talked about the minimum wage and how much they're paying the McDonald's employees. But that's a whole other.
They asked him. A reporter asked him about the minimum wage, and he danced around the question.
He's not going to answer the question. He went off in a tangent, just like he said. I always wanted to work at McDonald's. Yeah, sure. I always wanted to work at McDonald's. But the funny part about it, that was the most successful company he's ever run. I'm not even going to go there.
They weren't even open. They shut down. They shut down, and they screened in people that were supporters of Trump to come in there.
They had fake people in the drive-through to come through.
Yeah, they didn't even charge. They didn't even charge. It wasn't even charged.
So
I mean,
giving the fries away.
Yeah, they just got whatever he gave them, and that was it.
But mostly fries. It was weird. It was like a weird stunt that, again, everything he does is always a stunt. Just like that random.
There's nothing authentic about that guy, man. Nothing authentic.
Yeah, like that with that fake one black girl that she was like, oh my God, Trump, all staged. Like I don't understand why people don't see the stage and stuff. Because I mean, if it was closed, why was it like a whole thing? You don't even have on friggin' hair nets, which you're supposed to be serving people with if you have hair flowing like that. But I digress. All in all, great show. We're heading into the presidential election. I don't know what we're going to be doing for that night. If we're going to be doing all night thing with MD, or if Vancat's going to do the live feed. It would be very.
MD's supposed to have that Super Tuesday stream.
Yeah.
I think, man. So yeah, we should do TFP, and then I can come on right after TFP.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
We gotta do that because it's gonna be a very electrifying night. But I don't think we're gonna get the results, and if we do, it's gonna be close. But all in all, I think it should be very interesting and up to, and if not being on that night, it should be unprecedented. No puns intended. But great show. Looking forward to next week. If y'all don't know, do your research about Tesla and Elon Musk, because that man is crazy. Doesn't look like it, but he has way too much thoughts, and that's something that bothers me a great deal. Other than that, go vote. Know what's in play here, and Project 2025 is still up on the website. Go read it.
Yep. I had a piece on that too. Black men reading Project 2025. I'll try to do it for next week. So we'll have our show next week. We're getting closer to the election. Early voting is going to continue, at least in Florida, 2 days up until the election. I think it ends on the 3rd, I believe, the early voting.
Yeah. Ours is on the 1st.
Yeah. So you definitely want to take advantage of it. Early voting is like the only way you should be voting, to be honest, because it's less chaotic, it's less stressful, it's more convenient. You don't want to be running out of work and waiting in that long line. That makes no sense. I never understood that. So take advantage of it, because some of these Republican states, they love to restrict people voting options, and so it's just a mess. So take that early voting and run it home. I'd like to thank everybody that was viewing tonight. Thank everybody in the chat. Thinking Black, Zay, Bones, Maria G, of course, Trevor, got, of course, Murr, ODB of the group. Everyone, Tequila was here too. Thank everybody for watching. We'll be back next week. Keep your eyes on this election and don't take it for granted. Don't assume that somebody's got it in the bag. Go out and do your voting, man. I did that mistake for a couple years in a row, and I paid for it every time. So go out and vote and make your voice be heard. So until then, we'll see you guys next week. Thanks for viewing, and have a great evening. Peace.
Peace and out.
She just said a terrible thing. You know what she said? Shout it out, because I don't want to. Okay, you're not allowed to say, and I never expect to hear that from you again. She said, I never expect to hear that from you again. She said he's. That's terrible. Terrible.